And it looks like we are live. Another off-centered Tuesday night instead of Wednesday night. Switching it up a little bit this week. Hope everybody is doing well. Guys, how we doing?
Doing good.
How's life in there in Florida, Ham? What's going on?
Not much, really. We're just preparing for hurricane season June 1st, so everybody's trying to get their ducks in a row.
It's like a year
other than that, we haven't really had much rain. We just started getting some random rain here and there, but we've been in a pretty hard drought. We're under fire watch for the last 2 weeks.
Irony with all that.
Yeah.
And Steve is in Peru. How's Peru been, Steve?
Peru has been a tale of two, I don't want to say vacations, but kind of. Today's been great. It's my 25th wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary, sir.
Lighting is still shining directly off my head, probably giving a glare to everybody. And I swam with some sea lions this afternoon. Went out to dinner, taking a little break, and probably going to go back out after the live stream.
Like on purpose, like on a sea lion tour, or you ran into them while you were swimming in the ocean?
So it was like a boat tour.
They tried to eat you?
No. So it was actually could go see the sea lions, right? But there's islands off the coast here in Lima here. We're on the Pacific Ocean. So what's weird to me is that it's about parallel with the East Coast, but it's on the Pacific Ocean where I'm at because I'm on the west side of South America, and the west side of South America lines up with east side of the North America. It's funny that I'm saying west side also because the street that I'm staying on is called Tupac Street. It's even spelled T-U-P-A-C. Can't make it up.
They still aren't over it yet. He's still alive. He's still alive down there.
He might be. So when we're going around trying to find our way back to the apartment, I look at people and say, "We're looking for Tupac. Where can I find Tupac?" And they just look at me like I'm weird. I got my Inca Cola.
Like Gringo.
Inca Cola. What's up, Brian?
So
good to see you.
I tried this in Atlanta at the Coke World. At the Coke place, you can try all those different Coke flavors. And this is the one for Peru. But if you come to Peru, it's just common. You get it out in any store.
It's the standard one. It's like that orange soda that you get in India.
Oh, I don't know. I've never been to India.
You just type in soda India.
I think Rage is referring to a popular breakfast cereal, the Peruvian corn flakes, unless that's some tongue-in-cheek thing.
I'm not sure.
The Peruvian corn flakes. Yeah, that's actually it's an illustration of Neo. He's not actually on camera.
Yeah. It's like a sports flick. You have to move your screen to watch him move around. Say hi to Shelby.
Who are the Cavs against Neo?
Pacers.
That's right. The Pacers beat the Bucks.
Yeah, they're a tough team.
Are they going to tie it up?
I don't know. They're up 8 with 8 minutes to go. But Mobley's hurt, Garland's hurt, and DeAndre Hunter's all out tonight.
My
That's
God.
rough. Yeah, it's not great in Northeast Ohio right now when it comes to Cleveland basketball.
Well, if you pull it out, do they come back for game 3 or no?
Garland has turf toe. That's not something exactly heals overnight. Mobley has an ankle sprain, and DeAndre Hunter dislocated his thumb.
Why are the Cavs banged up when the playoffs start? Like, I don't get it. Wasn't it the same last year? I thought it was the same story last year.
Yeah, they all got hurt during the playoffs.
Well, I mean, if we're going to talk playoff basketball.
Playoffs?
Michael Ham.
Steve's been waiting 2 weeks to talk about it.
I'm having a hard time finding that Lakers game. Maybe I just can't get it on Peruvian television. Did somebody update me the score?
Game 1 starts tomorrow down there, buddy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they were probably playing on the beach, right? Are they playing that game on the beach on vacation?
It's very 70s.
I'm not saying that to diss all the Lakers fans in the chat, but
that's Celtics Knicks game.
I had to hear so much Luka shit.
Rough one.
Yeah, at least I get to bask in this victory for a second.
Luka's long term. You want Luka long term.
Luka long term. Yeah.
Also, though, Luka is running out of long term though. And now he's 20. What is he? 25, 26?
That's when your career starts. And
he's only got a good 10 years left of his NBA prime.
Well, maybe if he keeps eating cheeseburgers, it might not be.
His prime.
I think he looks thinner. I looked like he lost some weight by the end of the season. Started playing, defense every other play.
He got put on the LeBron diet.
I don't know if I've ever seen him that big when before, like as he was going to the Lakers. He was pretty big. Yeah, he was
double chinning it.
He was playing basketball. That's why he lost weight. I mean,
yeah. Well, let's see if Luka gets him in the offseason a little bit. Let's see if he comes back a little trimmed up.
But that's the thing in any sport with any player that's, shows promise but hasn't really accomplished much from a credential standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Is the thought process of, oh, he's got plenty of time. He's got plenty of time. He's got plenty of time. Like everybody has plenty of time until they're out of time. But that goes for everything in life. That goes for us. So,
one life.
Just saying, it's another season going by and another, no championship, not even a third rounder. And the thing was, it was a big move to the Lakers where they were the 3 seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Luka went to the finals last year or something like that.
Yeah.
I finally saw the picture. I'm sure other people may have seen this, but LeBron's like big toe I don't know if it's on both feet, but on one foot is like jumped all the way over the other one because he's been playing for 25 years. So now I understand why he travels and flops around so much, because he's having to like run on that foot, which has got to be just painful as hell. If I was him, I think this would be it. Although I'm sure he's probably going to do his goodbye tour. He'll play next.
He's going to want a farewell tour.
A farewell tour. Yeah, exactly. He's not going to just say after this season, like, I'm done. He's going to want to. Oh, we lost Steve there.
Luka assassinated his internet.
Yeah, I said LeBron and Luka, and all of a sudden,
Red submarine right out of the Pacific. Luka popped up and got him. Is it time to sell QBs or hold? I would hold right now until you as close as you can to the national.
It would be fun to watch Luka and Jokic. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
I think they are buddy.
I think it'd be the best thing for the NBA too. Just having them both on the same team.
All the big white Europeans on one team.
Just put them all on the same team.
Like what happened to the Lakers? They got really white.
Well, because once LeBron retires, he doesn't have that second. Like, who are they going to pair with him? I guess it could be like another young star or something. But
that's what
a lot of these guys are getting old. I mean, Steph's getting up there.
I mean, we're getting ready to get a changing of the guard in the NBA, and who's your guy right now? Everybody's trying to figure out who's the guy going to be. I mean,
it kind of seems like the Nuggets. Honestly, that's what it kind of seems like.
I just don't know who the face of the league's going to be in 2 years.
Well, Pops is hoping it's Wemby.
Yeah,
I think that's your best bet. I mean, he seems like the cleanest guy right now. He's pretty likable. He plays offense and defense. I mean, those linky guys either fall apart or they last forever. I mean, I like Wemby long term.
I mean, SGA is about to win an MVP, so
yeah,
he's pretty young.
Like, I don't feel like he's the face of the league. Like, I wouldn't be like, that's your guy.
I mean, if they win the title this year,
I mean, wasn't Giannis supposed to be the face of the league? And what happened there?
His team sucks.
Well, he's a superstar. He should be carrying his team.
Cody, for this one,
complain about every other superstar.
The pointers on this one are eBay sold listings, card ladder, market movers. It depends on which cards we're talking about. First, you're talking about selling some of your baseball cards. That's where you would want to check value at least. That's
130 point.
130 point, another option.
130 points going to pull from like 5 different platforms. I think, does market mover still only access eBay?
No, they've got a variety.
I thought 130 points is just eBay.
No,
I don't think so.
It's Prestige.
Oh, they pull multiple now too.
Yeah, They've been pulling like 5 different platforms for a while.
Y'all been picking anything up?
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin Clark.
I got a bunch of
I
stuff.
know about
going
Clayton.
on.
You've been picking up Caitlin Clark for like 5 months.
I've got a few little plays I'm working on.
I bought a card about an hour ago.
Oh, what was her name? That's how it works down there. The cards, right?
Theo. Like Nelly said, underly, EI. Uh-oh. You know EO, Mike.
Steve, is it time to sell quarterbacks or hold until July?
Depends on when you bought them. Depends on what kind of margins you want, and depends on who you have. That's very broad.
Yeah, the other part is everybody's going to be selling in July too. So
If you bought them last week, no. If you bought them in the beginning of January, you probably have some room on them if you depending on who you have. If you have somebody whose situation got worse after the draft, probably not a good idea to sell them. If you were banking on somebody in the Browns quarterback room getting some hype like a Kenny Pickett, it's probably not a good time to move him now.
It was never a good time to think Kenny Pickett was going to get hype.
Yeah. If anything,
No. Incorrect. Because I bought 2 nice Kenny Pickett's. You guys saw him when he was still on the Eagles the week of the Super Bowl. And I bought him with the 2 outs of maybe something happens in the Super Bowl, crazy fluky, and he has to play and does well, or he gets dealt in the offseason, which the latter of the 2 happened. He got dealt in the offseason, but you had to move on that deal because now that quarterback room is super muddled and he may be the odd man out. So there was a small window. If you bought at the right time, if you bought before he was moved to the Browns, then you're fine on that. So that's why I mean it's going to be really circumstantial to the cards of the players that you're holding.
You guys remember this card from back in the day?
Is that
Oh yeah,
I remember that set.
Tim Hardaway, Fleer rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So this is hilarious. So I had a notice from the post office that I have a letter to pick up, and I owe $4.25 for postage. So I bought this card as part of my like binder project, my nostalgia card binder project thing I'm doing. And so the guy or gal shipped it for $1, did like the penny, like, or did the dollar or whatever, like the 99-cent shipping, but put it in the screw down. So it was too heavy to go in like a letter. And so they charged it. So I paid $4 to go and pick this up at the post office.
so they charge you.
I got to leave it in the screw down.
That's funny.
I see a comment over there, and I can't access the comments like you guys can because all I can see is our screen. I can't see the comment screen unless I go away from our screen.
In here.
Yeah, Charles has been active on social media lately. Did you see his photoshopped muscle?
Yeah,
muscle
I said it was
I saw
AI.
his face on the rock, or his face on Bruce Lee's body.
Yeah, it was like somebody painted the bottom part of it and pasted his head on it.
How you doing, Shaq?
But,
GTP.
I told him his new nickname is Photoshop Triceps. But
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to look like at the National, Steve?
no, I'm never going to be ripped like that. I'm never going to have like 0% body fat.
Steve's on the Fuchs diet.
Shit, fook that. I just
Fuchs that. Give me a cheeseburger.
I'm just, my diet ain't like that. Like I'm just trying to be comfortable. I was able to swim against the current today.
Fuchs has been intermittent fasting since like Christmas Day. That was his last meal.
It's the secret is he doesn't eat.
I saw a comment there that said something about will SGA's prices ever pass Luka's? I can't answer that question, but something that I actually posted to you guys yesterday, it's kind of funny, is that there was that post on Instagram that said, which player would you rather be holding right now, Silver Prism? And it had the 17 Tatum, it had the, 2022 or 21, whatever year Anthony Edwards was. And it had, from 2018, it had SGA, it didn't have Luka. Now, some may argue that, well, the Luka is the no-brainer hold, right? But I'm going to say that that's no longer the face card of that set. At least according to that post. I really don't know. I mean, maybe it still is the face card of that set. You know, the Jordan will forever be the face card of the 86 Fleer set. The David Robinson that Dutson likes to show will forever be the face of that hoop set. What will be the face of that 2018 Prism set if that, you know, 2017 football is the Mahomes? Will it be the Luka or will the SGA pass it?
Yeah.
I'm just glad we're going to be online when Neo breaks something in his office with like 30 seconds left in the game.
I'll turn the camera off.
Dude,
I'm not about to go viral for throwing something through a monitor.
If we were watching a Saints game, there's no way I could stream. There's absolutely no way. Like Jekyll and Hyde. It'd be actually, it might be good entertainment. Maybe I will stream.
Hey, maybe you should. What are you talking about?
Might boost viewership because it gets a little nutty.
Yeah, but then again, just to backtrack.
What? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just to backtrack to what we were talking about, though. SGA could win a title this year. He could win one next year, and his values may still never pass Luka's just because it's not always performance that drives value. Performance is part of it, but, you know, the Luka, that international market is strong. And then the markets that he played in, Dallas and now the Lakers, are both really a lot stronger than the OKC market.
Well, what happened? Think about Giannis. Think about how hot Giannis was, and he's got a title. Does Giannis have 2 MVPs?
Yeah, a couple defensive player of the year.
A couple defensive, and he's got a title, and he is a forgotten man. And
wait till he gets traded this offseason.
That's what I was getting at. Likability is huge, and then market's very big as well. That's why I was trying to figure out who's the face of the league in 2 years in the NBA. I couldn't tell you right now.
But
somebody has to break out.
That's what's happened when people have success and then, you know, kind of fail. Yeah, Mahomes has probably fallen off a little bit too.
Oh, 100. Yeah, he has 100%.
Not many people are talking about Mahomes. They're talking about the young guys. I mean, even CJ Stroud, who had a really good rookie season, was not talked about at all. Nobody cares about CJ Stroud right now. They care about Jaden Daniels. Yep. It's just the way the things go.
Next up, yeah. Or if somebody just catches fire and starts getting all the publicity, or people are talking.
Well, you know, and when we start to talk about age, and I'm not talking about age, the number, I'm talking about years in the league. Giannis is not what we would consider to be young. Like, and he may be young, like I said, by actual age, but when you look at how long he's been in the league,
yeah.
When we look at Mahomes, Mahomes is the old man of the NFL quarterbacks at this time, it seems.
Yeah.
But you still have some of the veterans hanging out. Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, they've got in the twilights of the career that can't perform like they used to. But Mahomes is the old man. When you start talking about all these quarterbacks, but he's only been in the league since 2017. He's not even, probably through half of his he's not even through half of his career yet.
Yeah, and half these guys are in the league are going to dream to even have what he's already accomplished.
Fuchs has got the blue wrench on your channel or somebody's channel, and he hasn't stopped it in like a year. He's only here for Gary.
Who does he have the blue wrench on?
He has some special mouth that he just
mine.
Fuchs he hasn't used the wrench in over a year easily.
So like Andy E said, Anthony Edwards. My problem with Anthony Edwards is I watch him come off the bench and he has to basically unzip tie 10 things from his body to go onto the floor. And that guy's not going to last real long. He's a great talent. I do not see a 10-year career out of him at this point.
I don't know. He's built like a tank.
Well, those are the ones that fall apart.
Anthony Edwards on the Timberwolves?
Yeah.
But I don't think he's not an inside player, right? He's not like a bang around player. Maybe he's just wearing that stuff for preventative purposes.
I don't know if Neo slipped in his chair or if something happened on the screen, but that was classic. Okay.
What happened?
I don't know. It looked like he was about to fall out of his chair. I think that was him just trying to gather himself. This is man. Hold on. We're not doing this right. How do I make Neo bigger? How do I do this? That's the wrong one. Dang it. How do I do this thing? No.
Dustin trying to figure out how to work StreamYard.
Dustin.
We've only been streaming for 5 years. You think you know how to work the software?
You know, I might need to switch over to that other thing. I saw somebody, was it Mighty Comics, using like Restream or something? Actually looked pretty good.
Yeah,
He said it was
I saw
free.
somebody using that too. They used it for a little while, like a 30-day trial, but they didn't go back to it. So I don't know what the hiccup in it was.
I got to be able to run my banners at the bottom here. I don't know if you can do that. First time submitters to PSA, SCD25 code at the shipping and billing screen.
Banners.
Is PSA
I
still
don't
grading
know if a lot of
cards?
them allow the multi-stream either.
Yeah, so I'll just stick with it. I'll just pay the $800 a month or whatever the hell it is now.
Whatever, it's an easy tax write-off.
Yeah, it is. It's a write-off. Andy,
Anybody
what's going
got
on?
any-
It's the sports card investigator. What's
Yep.
going on?
Does he still post content? Is he actually still considered a content creator? Or
I
is
think
he
he does.
I'd love
I think he
to
does
see
a
a
video
video.
a quarter now.
I'd love to see a video, Andy. Love to see one. Oof. All right. Shane says hello.
There's lots of topics we can get into tonight because I actually have a video that I'm editing that I'll finish tonight to come out tomorrow. Hard at work, boys, with the content. I'm in Peru vacation. I'm still pumping out the content. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Well, look, 90% of your videos B-roll, and I got to assume there's a shitload of B-roll down there.
Oh my God, you guys, this is the next video. Just get ready because you guys are going on a virtual tour of Machu Picchu. You know what I'm saying? But
It's gonna
Is
be
Aaron Rodgers with you?
I might poke my head in every now and then and say something about the hobby. But anyway, because I don't have my cards and stuff that I've been buying and selling, because I've been out of the country, I'm just talking about some random thoughts of things that have been going on in the hobby. But it's also probably topics that we could probably hit tonight. You guys all probably have actually put videos out on all this shit. But I know that I touch on the grant from Whatnot a little bit.
Careful how you say that.
Yeah, right. Be careful. And then Leo's video talking about the set that Topps is coming out with the Star Wars and the Pixar and Disney stuff, which was a cool video. And then who cares what the third topic is? I already forgot what it is. Oh, it's about Jeff Wilson doing a national giveaway.
national giveaway, and then the fifth topic could be, is SGC dead? I think every content creator on earth has talked about, is SGC dead? We can revisit that if you'd like.
Well, the fourth topic is quick, but it's GameStop and grading, because right now I just had an order come back from GameStop, and I have multiple other orders out with GameStop.
All right, well, fire up that topic. Do you want to start with talk about that?
Well, we can't. I mean, just real quickly, like it's I got a lot of questions because my first PSA order that I got back from them took about a month. That's all it took. It went out on March 8th and it was received back on like April 11th. And I shot 3 videos off of that PSA reveal, actually. I have 2 more orders out, and I must have just got that order out with GameStop before the PSA really got backed up, because now I have 2 orders that were placed on the same day, March 26th, and they're still in the phase of shipped to PSA. It doesn't even look like they've been received by PSA unless the tracker that runs through GameStop has not been updated. So I just want to put away any thoughts of, if you go through GameStop, it might be faster or things like that, because as of right now, from personal experience, that first order was fast, but it looks like that was kind of an anomaly or luck. I just beat the cutoff before things really got backed up. It wasn't. I got them back in a month because GameStop is faster. If that was the case, I would have gotten these next 2 orders at least.
Caps it at 3.
At least through.
Keep going.
No, that's all right. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that was one of my questions I had. Was the GameStop stuff being pushed in front of everything else? That might have been starting that back up because they wanted to appease the people going to GameStop with that turnaround time as part of maybe an agreement with GameStop. So that's what I was figuring.
So based on that, are you just going to go through GameStop each time just because of that until like it changes? Like, you may as well, right?
Well, I'm going to continue to go through GameStop because it's easy. And if you're a GameStop like member, like if you have a membership, like you can get through being a, it looks like you're like the last one.
Get it, boy, kill that fly.
Easy. But they just handle all of they send the cards to PSA. PSA actually does the research on your cards. The first time I dropped my cards off at GameStop, I asked them, I was like, so who's going to fill out all of the information on the cards? Because, if you submit yourself, you got to put the card and the set and, yada, yada, yada across the board. So I thought maybe the GameStop employees did that in the back before they like ship your cards off or something, or they shipped them somewhere to do it. But they told me that they just sent them to PSA, and PSA handles all that now. So it cuts out a lot of work. Shipping is $5, I think.
Maybe that's why they're having to re-enter everybody's cards.
Yeah, but shipping is like $5 if you have a GameStop membership fee, and that's there and back. Like when I ship my cards myself, especially if I want to insure them, sometimes it can cost me over $100 in shipping charges round trip.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, if you have a local GameStop, I think that would be the best option for most people. I think the standard person isn't trying to send 50 cards off. So I think honestly, I think it's a good business model right now until we start getting some problems with stuff getting lost, missing, or some other shenanigans.
That was kind of my concern. I just go direct to PSA, but that was kind of my concern is like, is the GameStop employee going to mess up my stuff or screw it up or whatever, but sounds like they've got it figured out. So,
yeah, that was my thing. I was like, how knowledgeable are these people if they're the ones that are actually researching the cards and doing a submission form? But they don't do a submission form. They just take photos of the fronts and the backs. They put a sticker, which is a UPC barcode on the back of each one of your card savers. They scan them all individually in, which is basically them ringing you up for you to pay. Mm-hmm. And then they ship them with photos.
All right, let's switch over to SGC quickly. We can cover this. So my stance hasn't changed on this since they were purchased. How long ago was it? Was 18 months ago or so, roughly? I can't remember exactly when it was. And I said at the time that I think the SGC brand is going to stay. I don't think that, but right when it happened, Nat Turner came out and said it's clear based on our data that people use SGC for, especially on the vintage side, because they don't want to use PSA. There's not a lot of crossover there, meaning like they're like the anti-PSA. So, and I don't really think that's changed that much in the last 18 months. People still go to SGC and, that like SGC and that's that. I think the reason why Pete is not out front and center is just because he doesn't need to be really. He doesn't need to be. Maybe and I think people speculated he might be kind of out the door, like maybe he had a 2 or 3 year agreement or something, and then he goes out. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I haven't had any contact with him either, like a lot of people, but I think because, he's just not as front and center, there's a lot of, assumption that, something's going sideways, but SGC is getting more cards than they ever have before over the last couple of months based on the gem rate data. So it's not like SGC is slowing down as far as their volume. I mean, their turnaround time's slowing down a little bit, but they're not slow. They're still getting more business than they ever have before. And I don't think that it serves PSA or collectors to get rid of SGC or, make SGC the, Boca Raton PSA or whatever. It just doesn't make sense unless SGC just completely falls apart, which they haven't done. So I don't know. That's just my take on it. I don't think anything's really changed. Now, if Pete's maybe moving on to other things or whatever, eventually, then maybe, but I don't think SGC is going anywhere. I don't see it.
Yeah, I kind of look at it as, say, if Coca-Cola bought Pepsi, right? They wouldn't discontinue making Pepsi because there's still people that prefer the taste of Pepsi over Coke, even if Coke is the majority or vice versa, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. It just wouldn't make sense. It's still something that's going to make them plenty of money because there's consumers that prefer it. So.
And PSA doesn't need, it's not like PSA needs to fold them up to it. It's like PSA is already advancing on their own. Like if SGC is still booming and still getting a lot of cards, still getting more cards I've ever gotten, why would you fold them up? It makes no sense. PSA is going to grow regardless. They got offices opening in Germany and, they've got offices going up all over the place. They don't need to fold up SGC. I just don't see it. But anyway, go ahead, Steve, or Ham, or anybody else that wants to chime in. 48 seconds.
I think SGC Pete is locked up in a basement like Sloth, and they just throw him candy bars. Personally,
tell us what you really think, Ham.
Well, that, and I think the long-term goal is to get rid of them, to absorb them, and just PSA just take over. I don't know if it's going to be a year or two, but I'd say 5 years from now, I do think PSA just wants to be that dominant factor, and they just want their PSA logo everywhere. They don't want any other 3-letter acronym for grading to be out in front of them. And I think that's what they're going to keep doing. And if they can absorb more people, they're going to do it. Now, I mean, I personally would like it if they did PSA grading in Florida. There's a crap ton of cards here. There's a lot of people that grade out of Florida. I'd love to see the numbers that just come out of a state. And I think it would be beneficial for them to have a grading company or, like, you know, the Southeast right over in Florida. I just think it would be easy for them and very convenient for everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the New Jersey office, so they've kind of got the East Coast covered as far as that goes. And then, I mean, look, they just opened up a submission center at Burbank. You know, I mean, they'll probably have submission centers with PSA employees all over the country here in the next couple of years. That Burbank store was that first retail store. There'll probably be a dozen of those in the next couple of years.
Well, that, and I'm still waiting for whoever comes out with the on-site grading machine where you just pop your card in and it spits it back out.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if it's
Neo just
gimmicky.
flopped in his chair. Neo just flopped in his chair. So
It's going to be gimmicky probably at first based on who puts it out, but if it's going to be successful, I mean, simple as that. If they would let me buy a machine, I'd buy a machine, like a Coke machine, and basically, here you go, go ahead and stick your cards in this thing, spit it back out the other side. I think it's going to be a popular model once they can do that.
take
Especially
a
if
breath.
you can
Take a breath.
drop
Neo.
any of those off at a show.
It'd be like a confessional booth in a church. You just walk up, you hand your card in. You don't know who you're handing it to. There's somebody sitting in a booth. They look at it for a couple seconds, they hand it back out. That's
I'm
it.
surprised they don't have a
But the whole
machine.
time you're praying that
yet.
you get a 10.
I want a machine at the casino that's like the Wheel of Fortune, where you can see all the slabs on it, and you got to pull the lever, and you watch all the slabs as they slow down until it hits your thing, and then it'll spit your card out, just like Wheel of Fortune or something. I'd play that game at the casino.
Oh, I just went to a casino before we
And how
went
much
by.
did you play?
There is casinos here in Lima.
How are they compared to the ones back home?
Okay, the casino inside was really nice, and they had a nice slot machines. And all of the staff was dressed really nice. I mean, it really seemed upper scale. They have steps to go up separate sides. So to the left side to the second floor was table games for Solis, which
Keep going,
Caribbean
guys.
Solis. What's that?
My dog's barking. Keep going.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
going to figure out what's at the door.
But Peruvian Solis, which is the currency used here. But then there's another side where you could play US dollars, which I didn't go to that side, so I'm not sure what it was like. But the Peruvian Solis side, I went up and played on that side. And it was small. There was a few blackjack tables, a couple roulette tables, and no dice. Table minimums were 15 soles, which is about a little bit less than $5.
Mm-hmm.
So soles here is basically like divided by like 3.5, and that's what you got in US dollars. I just kind of divide everything by 4. So if something called 20 soles, I just say it's $5,
Yeah.
right? And that's kind of how the currency works here for me. And well, the casinos aside, and this isn't about my vacation or about Peru, but like stuff is cheap here, man. The US dollar is really strong here. Like I said, it's like 4x. And when you look at things in Seoul, it's like we had dinner tonight for our anniversary. We went to like a 5-star place. We had appetizers and cocktails and our food, and I mean, it was 190 soles, which was $51.90.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the stuff is just inexpensive.
When I was in Scotland, it was the opposite because the US dollar is not worth as much as.
Yeah. When I was in London last summer, the British pound was way stronger than euros. Euros have typically been stronger. The British pound was stronger, but here, the US dollar seems way stronger.
Oh yeah, any like South American countries, our dollar goes a really long way.
And you can use U.S. money here. They take U.S. dollars at some places around here, unless it's like street vendors and stuff, which this place is just filled with street vendors.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm not going to get into
Do
publication.
they
What's
have a lot
that?
of tap to pay down there? Do they have a lot of tap to pay?
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially here in Lima's a modernized city. Like where I'm at now, and I'm in Miraflores neighborhood, which is a beach community or a beach neighborhood. So we're right on the Pacific Ocean. It's like higher dollar here in the neighborhood that I'm staying in. But Cusco is completely different though. Cusco is like you're in a time warp. Lima is like a modern city in the United States. You know, it has everything here. Like I said, it has casinos, shopping malls, you know, you name it, they have it. But with that being said, it's tougher here. The language barrier is tougher in Lima, even though it's a much bigger city.
Mm-hmm.
In Cusco, people only tend to really go to Cusco because of tourism.
Yeah.
So most of Cusco does speak English as well as Spanish. But here in Lima, I've had to use Spanish a lot more.
Mark had a comment.
Yeah, we'll go back
But,
to that one. Did you, Paul's asking, did you see the 3 Scott Weiland auto cuts that hit eBay tonight?
I did not. I seen Paul. He actually sent me a Instagram message showing it to me. And I also saw his post when he received it. And I've looked at eBay for those, but I have not seen any. But I've been really busy today. Like I got sunburned.
Did you have the opportunity to fly over Nazca?
Are those the lines? When you say Nazca, are those the where you can see like the lines in the ground, like of the animals and stuff? It looks like not crop circles. So they're kind of like.
I don't know. I would say if you're asking, you didn't go.
Well, what I'm saying, when I flew into Lima on the way to the trip, it was dark, so I couldn't see the ground, and I don't have window seat. I get an aisle seat, and then flying out of Lima to Cusco and back, I had an aisle seat. So no.
PA Pokemon polls. If you have one of those nice rare Charizard, you could sell one of those and just probably live like a king there for a year. But I know Mark had asked a question about grading machines because he didn't hear all of it or whatever. It was a reference to what it is. Tag has talked about potentially coming out with portable grading machines so they can put places and it'll grade your card on the spot. Don't wave away. You're watching basketball. But that at some point it's going to come out in the next 2 years. I don't foresee it coming out this year for sure.
Are there any other basketball games on tonight?
Warriors.
Just the Lakers.
The Warriors have the Wolves. Game 1, I think, right? Isn't that the next one?
It's on after the Cavs game.
Yep.
Have we been live since the NFL draft?
I'm not watching anything.
Since what, NFL draft?
Since the NFL draft?
I think so. Maybe not.
Or was it the Thursday after our last live stream?
You know what? We streamed on the Wednesday and the draft is on Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, we only texted about it because everybody kept passing on Sanders and we thought the Saints might take him and things like that. So what do you think about that, Dustin?
I'm okay not having him. I don't think that Shedeur is going to be a good NFL quarterback. I don't.
I don't either.
This is going to sound weird to say, but Tyler Shuck, the guy that we got, although he's played, he's in college for like 12 years, and I think he's older than like T-Law. It's kind of nice having a QB that's 6'5", 230. Like Derek Carr. I just watched Derek Carr's like little noodle arms get like thrown out of bounds. Like he's not terrible, but he's $40 million a year. He's got a fake injury. He's like a total diva. Is a complete pain in the ass. So I'm ready for the next wave of guys, whoever that is. And if it's Tyler Shuck, that's great. If it's Spencer Rattler, great. If it's Arch Manning, it's great. Neo. Pills are good. Pills are like Neo's about to take his high blood pressure pills.
Is the game still going on?
There's 12. This is the longest last 60 seconds of a game I've ever
seen. I thought when Neo did his sky hook that it was over. I thought they won. I thought he was cheering a victory.
No, that was with 2 minutes left in the game.
Just throw your chair at the wall if this goes. There's 1 second left in the game. Oh my God. I just got the score update. Oh my friggin' God.
What's the score?
You want to drop off, Neo, and just go throw shit? It's 120-119 Pacers with 1 second, end of the fourth. Wow, we get to see this. Come on.
Who's got the ball? Who's got the ball?
Cool. It's over. End of the fourth.
Oh, end of the fourth. I thought you said there was 1 second left.
There was.
Right now it's like, play it cool. I'm on a live. Dude, if it was the Saints, I would just be ripping. You can do whatever you like here. You're in good.
You don't have like
I've
a
been there.
soft clutch you can throw?
I've been at a Saints game with Dustin.
Oh yeah, you've been to a Saints game with me, Steve. You've seen it.
They are
I had a Saints game with you when you were here in Tampa. I just didn't hear you.
Yeah. You guys are never going to win a Super Bowl. That's what I always have on Panthers fans.
Yeah.
They're so
Zero
nice.
Super Bowl.
You know where I don't say that? Well, I can't say 0 Super Bowls to the Ravens because they have them, but Baltimore is not the place to talk smack to the fans. That was a place. So me and my wife, and I can't remember which year it was, 2018 or 19, Justin Tucker, timely, just got cut. Justin Tucker. So like Saints are losing the whole game. And then I'm yelling at him. Of course, I've had a few drinks. I'm yelling at all the fans, like, get ready for this comeback. Kind of like joking. But then we do come back. We go up on them. And then the Ravens come back and score. And then Justin Tucker shanks the extra point. He misses the extra point like wide right. And everybody's just like in complete shock. And I'm like, told my wife, I'm like, we got to run out of here. We got to get the hell out of here fast. So,
are any of y'all following baseball right now?
I don't believe in that.
No.
And what's going on in baseball?
Too many games.
No, there was a question earlier about Aaron Judge surpassing what Mike Trout was, or becoming what Mike Trout was.
I don't know how to make Neo's face bigger, but I have to figure out how to do this. Shit. How do I friggin'
That's you still. You can't drag him over.
I'm trying to do that. There we go.
There he is. All right.
It's too late now.
Bask in the
Why?
glory.
God, man. This is a time when you go nuts. It's okay.
You missed your window.
So you watch the game. Give me your summary of how you feel about what happened.
I mean, they blew it in the last 3 seconds.
What happened with Mitchell?
He scored like 50.
Fantastic.
Well,
wow, this is a really passionate, emotional response, Neo.
This is a lot out of Neo. What are you talking about?
This is going to be like, I'd hate to see when the Browns win the Super Bowl, Neo's just going to be like with a smile on his face. Like, dude, the Browns just won the Super Bowl. That was a pretty good game.
We knew
yeah,
it.
But look, Neo sits and watch Cleveland like all the time. How many live streams do we go live and he's sitting and watching Cleveland? So he's a real fan and he's sitting there with his team, and they finished first in the East this year, like really showing hopes. And now they're like, does they go 0-2 now?
Yeah, they're down 0-2.
So now they're down 0-2, and like sometimes you go in. Sometimes you go in hopeful because your team might be like an underdog, and you go in hopeful, and you're hoping that they win, but best case scenario. But sometimes you don't expect them to win. But like, I'm pretty sure some of the Cleveland fans right now are like really true believers. So it makes it even hurt like worse when they look like they're like playing their worst basketball of the season when it really counts.
Well, and this is 2 years in a row. Because I remember last year their team was all banged up in the playoffs too.
But I'd still think last year, I don't know if they were still expected to be the team. And I even if they finished first in the East, were they expected to be the team, or like the Celtics and stuff, still kind of like the favorites, throwing seedings aside? I really don't know.
Neo just slipped into a coma. Dude, I would literally probably, if it was a playoff game and the Saints lost, I'd leave the stream immediately.
Yeah, no, I get in the playoffs is where I get ramped. I mean, at the game I'm loud, but during the playoffs I get extra boisterous.
Well, I mean, for ratings, I'd throw an F-bomb or something and I'd throw something against the wall and then I'd go out. But still, then I'd be off.
Yeah.
Here's the thing too. You remember like in the 90s, like teams go down 2-0, like that was pretty much a given. Now, granted, I guess did the Cavs have home court both nights?
Yeah, these were 2 Cavs home games.
Yeah, that's brutal.
That's real bad, yeah. Unless it's just one of those series.
I mean, they're not going to win it. They're not going to win if Mobley, Garland, and Hunter are all hurt. Like,
yeah, they got to get guys back.
Yeah, I know you're just beat up really bad. I did see Halliburton's cards were going up.
Yeah, they're really going to be going up now.
Yep. And I got to go pull my patch auto out that I have. Get that thing out of my face.
Cam, what the hell are you doing with a Halliburton patch auto?
When I bought that big collection, it was one of the cards in it. And it wasn't even sleeved. It was like he won it in a break and just got some stuff in the mail and just tucked it in a 5-row. And I was just going, I'm across a quad patch auto rookie of Halliburton.
No, how much of that have you sold?
I just held on to it because I just knew he was a good young
Oh,
player.
no. I'm asking how much of that big collection have you sold?
Probably about 90% of it now. That's where I got the Luka silvers and stuff like that.
That you have or you sold?
No, I still have them. I sold almost all the other stuff, and I kept some nicer stuff just on the backside.
You didn't sell those Luka silvers when you got traded to the Lakers?
I'm gonna wait till he gets till they go up in the next couple of years. That's just
No, that's not going to happen. I told you that will be a $500. Okay, look. Okay, I'll write this down in your notebook. That'll be a $500 card before it's a $2,000 card.
Which one?
The Luka Silver PSA 10. That'll be a $500 card before it's a $2,000 card.
I probably won't have it that long then.
Okay, I'm just saying. What is it at now?
I get what you're saying.
Is it sub 1,000 yet?
I'm looking at moving my Mike Trout Bowman Chrome first auto.
Neo would know. He stays on the market updates on that stuff.
I want you to do Neo. You need to do a market update on Cavs guys and just be like cussing the whole way through it, like bullshit. Yeah, it's down 12% because that bullshit 3 at the end, stupid foul, dumbass. That's what I want to see in the next Sunday, the weekly Sunday breakdown with the charts.
So, like, real quick, we'll circle back to baseball for a second. Do y'all think
Neo's videos for the rest of the week are like, "Hey, welcome back for another," or what? How does it start? Hey, YouTube, what's your intro?
It's boys and girls.
No. That's the end.
How do none of you know this? I've literally been posting videos for 5 years.
I know I've watched it, but it's like
Well, I can see you guys watch my content.
I watch it every day, except for the pack opening stuff. I don't watch, but
I know he uses. I know he refers to viewers. Sometimes it's "What's up, boys and girls," and sometimes I think he used to turn.
I know how he ends it every time.
All right. Well, now it's a thing. It's like YouTube. It's like, hey, YouTube. Hold on. Let's fire up.
I think he said YouTube land sometimes out there in YouTube land. Neo, I think I'm the most accurate out of everybody.
Hold on, Steve.
You're close, Steve, but no one's gotten it right. This is sad.
What word for word?
What's going on, YouTube people? That's it.
Yeah, chat's got it.
I said YouTube people.
Did you say? I didn't hear you say people.
Oh, I did. I said YouTube people.
I should say this too. So I know the thumbnail and everything it had Gary Vee on it. Gary Vee will be coming a little bit later on. So I didn't say anything in the very beginning. So I'm sure there's some people that are here that are like, where's Gary Vee?
There was a person that said they were here for Gary Vee only.
The guy with the guy with the blue ring. Fuchs. Yeah, Fuchs is the guy that was here just for Gary Vee.
Well, he'll be back.
I think he was being sarcastic.
I don't know. I haven't seen Fuchs in the chat in a while.
Oh no!
On Instagram,
Fuchs seems like a Gary Vee truther.
Yeah, he might be. He does Photoshop his biceps and triceps.
Everything, his head on things.
Maybe he can get himself a VFriend. What would we call it?
It'll be ex-friend of the channel.
I had a Gary Vee card over here from his wine collection set. I don't know where it went. I'm going through all these Pete Alonsos I have from that collection I bought. Two.
Maybe that was a VFriends photo in that on Facebook that Fuchs posted.
But no, what I was talking about with baseball, I don't think Shohei can duplicate what he did last year ever again. I still think he's one of the best hitters and players in baseball. But what Aaron Judge is doing is phenomenal, and then what Pete Alonso is doing is phenomenal as well. He may win MVP and comeback player of the year if he keeps it up.
So is Aaron Judge like? So for baseball, is he kind of a safe buy just because he's going to go down as a Yankee?
No, he's going to get busted for performance enhancers.
Oh, you think
what do
so?
you mean performance enhance? He's just a huge human being.
You see the gap in his teeth?
What? No, though he doesn't have that anymore. He has teeth fixed.
He had to get them fixed because he had a gap from using human growth hormone.
Hold on a second.
Well,
A gap
his
in your
entire
teeth
body's
means
a human growth hormone.
HGH? I don't think that's
It's all in your gums that grow a bit too big and your teeth start to get gaps.
That dude, go look at his old photos when he was a kid. He looked just like that as a kid.
I had a gap. I had a gap when I was a kid.
All right. All
All
right.
your HGH there, buddy.
Just write this one down in your notebook so I can have another I told you so.
Oh, there we go. I like Aaron Judge, but his concern early on was being healthy.
Look, I don't mind. It makes the game more exciting. You guys cheer. You guys are Barry. Well, I know Dustin. You guys like Barry Bonds, right?
I love Barry Bonds.
Barry's
So
the best.
why are you so why are you so adamant in defending Aaron Judge?
I'm not defending him. You're just
You can't play both sides of the coin.
HGH.
You're being hypocritical, him.
Is that Inca drink alcoholic?
Maybe we can get we can get Gary Vee to make you a V friend called Hypocritical Ham.
What kind of sugar's in that? Is that cane sugar?
I feel like that's one of those.
No, I got the low calorie, low sugar version. They actually make one of these here.
Oh, that's funny. Looks like a long ingredients list.
That's because it's in multiple languages.
Oh, see,
I wouldn't expect you to know that though, Ham.
I haven't seen this 28
No,
relics.
I've never had one, so no, I wouldn't.
I haven't seen this one. I'll have to check that out.
What, Inca Cola? What? Oh. Hey man, I got nothing against
I
Aaron.
saw this guy said, "Nah, Judge and Stanton got their teeth fixed a couple of seasons
The
ago."
truth is
Stanton got
stinging.
his teeth fixed because the guy with a baseball in the face.
The truth is stinging him right now.
Whose video is it? 28 relics. I don't.
Just posted.
It's been all over social the last couple days.
That title.
The body
injections
cam
of
video.
plasma.
Wife snaps after learning about husband.
Yeah.
Where's the one about that? You did a
What do
video
you,
on that.
is this about cards or no? Something separate from
Yeah,
cards?
the husband got in debt over cards.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that.
It's
Like
body
$100,000 or
cam.
$300,000.
No, that was a different one. This was like $1,000.
Oh, there's more than one. Fantastic.
I
You can
agree.
make a video every day about someone being in debt over cards.
They were walking Barry Bonds with the bases loaded. I think that tells you all that you need to know.
They'd walk him 4 times in a game just to not let him swing it back.
They're walking his ass with the bases loaded. I mean, come on. Do you remember the days where it was like you turn on Sports Center and like every day it was like another shot into San Francisco Bay? It was, and there's people out there.
Matani Cove.
Yeah, I mean, every single day on Sports Center would be some Barry Bonds shot into the Bay.
McCovey Cove. And then you see Jab's family out there trying to beat up little kids to get the ball.
Yep. You're
That's
right on that.
That's what somebody said. I saw that in a video
Bobby
somewhere.
Witt for sure. Bobby Witt's fantastic. But I don't know if he's ever going to have the numbers to win an MVP over the sluggers in the league.
Who?
Bobby Witt
Bobby
Jr.
Witt?
5-tool player.
Yeah.
I was just at the Rays game when they were here, and we have a guy named Chandler Simpson. He's probably the fastest guy in baseball, and he hit a shot at the shortstop. Bobby Witt grabbed it, and he knows he's blazing fast. He had to come up with that thing, not even step and throw. He just had to throw, and he still barely got the throw to get the guy out because of how fast he is.
Is he dominant in any one stat? You know, being a 5-tool player. So
No,
basically,
that's the thing is he's not overly dominant.
batting average probably.
Yeah, I mean high batting, but I mean what Judge is batting 340
I want to know. Okay, so William Fonda, and I don't know what he's saying this into different style of game, but are we talking about with Barry Bonds? Like, would Barry Bonds not be as good in today's game? Is that what we're saying?
He would kill today's game.
Or would he be batting 500 in today's game?
Are they going to let him juice?
Yeah, I mean,
well, they let Aaron Judge juice, so yeah,
that's true. They just juiced up both Stanton's arms.
I guess that's actually that's an interesting point too, because a lot of like Mark McGwire, that was his. I remember him saying in like an interview, like they weren't like it wasn't against the rules, like or it wasn't being tested for or whatever. So you know,
true.
But I'm just trying to generate that heat in chat by saying Aaron Judge is juice, and watch how many people I get heat from. Get that Dominic Mysterio.
You really want to get up if you really
dirty Dom.
No, dude, if you really want to get people upset, question Ken Griffey Jr., like his size. Like that guy was pretty big too, but you know, like then you get like people get really fired up about Ken Griffey Jr.
Trying to figure out who's gambling for Shohei now since he had to get rid of his interpreter.
Oh man. I hate not being able to see chat.
I'm on Pro Juice.
I'm
different type of juice these days.
I just turned 44. I feel like I need to get the Barry Bonds cream or whatever. What was he using? Like the cream?
That'd be awesome if they just sold Barry
Balco.
In the next few weeks, all of a sudden, I'm just like, the head is even bigger.
Big
head.
We all have giant heads that were just jacked.
But I was asking about Bobby Witt dominating one stat because there's been lots of 5-tool players that I remember being great during their time and being great as somebody who played fantasy football or fantasy baseball. But there are guys that nobody talks about or cares about anymore.
Yeah.
I think of a player like Bobby Abreu. You Phillies fans in the chat are going to know who I'm talking about. Bobby Abreu, and he came in around the same time as Vladdy Sr. Yeah. And nobody really talks about those guys that much anymore. But I remember them being great 5-tool players.
Bobby Abreu was all juiced up. He was on the sauce.
But Alfonso Soriano was another one, right?
He got busted like 4 times.
Dude, on the football side, remember Bill Romanowski? I feel like
that guy was so roided up. He was on the old roids too.
He was a maniac. That guy
was on the Brian Bosworth stuff.
No, he was on the Jack Lambert shit. That's what he was on.
But
Neo, you okay? Somebody take Neo's temperature.
Are you watching replays of the end of the game or something?
No, I'm just here.
He got real still. He got real still over there.
Neo, how many of your old Cleveland Indians do you think would do
son of a bitch?
What's that?
Manny? Was Manny?
I'm just asking. So Neo liked the Indians back in the day when they had when they were loaded. How many of those players do you think were juicing? You think Manny was juicing?
I mean, he's not getting in the Hall of Fame because everyone thinks he's juiced.
I know, but was he ever actually busted for it though?
No, but most of those guys were never busted for it.
Well, some of them actually, came out. Like Rafael Palmeiro ended up getting busted and all that. Like
he got busted because he adamantly lied about it.
What about Albert Bell?
Oh yeah, he juiced up.
That was a big boy, man. Albert Bell was a big boy.
Was he just a big guy, or was he on the juice?
Yes,
he was angry all the time.
I always think of the smaller guys, like the middle infielders. Remember middle infielders in the '90s? They were typically not power hitters, and then they became power hitters. Like Carlos Baerga was probably one.
You mean like Brady Anderson?
Well, he was a center fielder.
But he went from like 12 home runs to 55
Brett Boone on Seattle. He was like a second baseman for Seattle, and he was really small, and then came back the next season jacked and was hitting like 40 home runs.
Yeah, Bell had those cork bats. Like
Bell cork bat.
Sosa was famous for corking his bat.
Yeah, Brady hit 50 from the leadoff spot. He was the first person to do that.
Bell had the amazing moment when they took his bat to check for cork, and he flexed in the dugout with the biggest bicep ever and pointed at it and said, "The cork's in here."
Yeah. Did he get in trouble for running a bunch of kids away from his house on Halloween or something?
Yeah, he had roid rage all the time.
Yeah, actually, these two, Gary Sheffield and Juan Gonzalez, those guys were beasts, and nobody, especially Gary Sheffield, man, Chef was just an animal.
But I don't think Chef was ever proven of it happening. But Juan
Sheffield was never really a big dude. He was pretty lean.
He wasn't,
and I think
Sheffield
had more longevity as well. I believe he lasted a lot longer than those guys. He bounced around a couple teams, but wherever he went, he always seemed to be pretty good.
I think that's the problem with a lot of those guys. They don't have a team to like call their home.
Yeah, I'm surprised Chef doesn't have more, and maybe he does, but I'm surprised he doesn't have more hobby love. Just because he was such a good player for a long time, he was consistently good.
I mean, I don't even know what's his primary rookie card. I don't even honestly know.
Brewers, 89 stuff, right? He's got 89 upper
that's
deck.
probably part of the reason he's lost in the junk wax.
He has the 89 upper deck, just like Griffey.
Yeah,
does
he
he
have
have
the
89 upper deck?
Oh, yeah, maybe he does. Let's see.
Yeah, because he
I
has
think he's in the Griffey set. I think he's in the Griffey sets. I think he's in the Griffey sets, but
Yep,
and he has 89 upper deck.
Yeah, if you go back and look at like Rafael Palmeira's stats, if you he's got like 5 monumental stats across the board, and because of the steroid thing, he's not in the Hall of Fame. Otherwise, he's technically probably
Who'd you say?
10 stat guy.
Who's
Who'd you say?
No, Palmeira.
Yeah, Paul Mayer. But he really tarnished himself because he went to court and like completely denied it and did the whole read my lips.
He went out. Yeah, he went out straight in front because he has over 500 home runs, over 3,000 hits. He has some stupid RBI number. Like technically, for a Hispanic person, he'd be like their guy.
Sheffield had a 20-year career, but yeah, he played for about every single Major League Baseball team. It looks like.
I think that's the problem with those guys. They don't have collectability to one fan base.
Man,
Who's basically the only mercenary.
I think most people gravitate to him as either a Yankee or a Brave more than anything.
Oh, I don't think about him as a Brave at all. I think more of a Marlin.
Yeah, he was with the
Marlins.
93 to 98, he was with the Marlins.
He won a World Series with the Marlins.
Yeah, wasn't he? Was he in Detroit?
Yep. 2007, 2008 Tigers, and then ended it out 2009 with the Mets.
I remember him ending it with the Mets, but I remember him mainly as a Marlin, and for me as a Brewer because I used to get his rookie cards. He used to be one of the guys in the Beckett that was worth a couple bucks.
Yep. Yeah, Fuchs, Jim Tomei. Nobody will ever care about him. He's like the silent killer.
He's actually. I disagree. He's pretty collectible around here.
Tomei.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like a good guy?
Yeah, people love Tomei. He's another one. Like he actually never popped up on any lists. I don't think.
He's like a. I don't want to say he has a huge following, but he has like the people who like Tomei like collect him hardcore. I had some nice Tomei cards that I acquired in a large lot that I bought, and they were not hard to get rid of. And I didn't have to like really price them low. I mean, they were nice cards like relic autos and stuff like that, but I even think one of them was maybe a 101, but it was graded really low, like in a BGS 6 or something. But I had no problem moving that stuff.
Is this true, Ham?
Charles T talking about. I remember that game. I think the bases were loaded and Albert Bell got hit by a pitch. He refused to take the base.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I saw that. So is Trout out for the year, or he's got significant time?
No, they already did an X-ray on him. He didn't have any type of damage.
Man, talk about like a guy that fell from grace hobby-wise. Good Lord. I mean, I know there's still a lot of people that pay a lot of money for Mike Trout cards, but Jesus, like 5 years ago, it was like Mickey Mantle 2.0.
Yeah.
That was the whole Vegas. What was his name?
Yeah, Vegas Dave.
Vegas Dave.
Trout is here's your hot take. Trout is the most overrated modern player in baseball, and it's not even close.
Whoo! Look out.
I say when healthy, he's the top 4.
Cool. What has he ever done?
Have you not looked at his career?
What has he ever done besides just compile
One player on the team in baseball can't win a World Series by himself.
I do see the health thing, though. I see Neo's point with the health thing. I mean, if you say, like you said, Ham went healthy, and he'd really spent a lot of time hurt.
Correct. How many MVPs does Mike Trout have? 4?
Name me one moment name me one memorable Trout moment from his entire career, other than him getting struck out by
Anaheim. When Bryce Harper said Mike Trout's the best player in baseball. There you go.
This is the ideal kind of like the way you hope it works out father-son relationship where Vlad Sr. made like $200 million in his career. I think it's like $1.75. And then his son just signed like a $500 million deal with the Blue Jays.
Yep.
Like, that's doing it right. All right.
And he's probably not even half the player that his father was.
Vlad Senior was a beast.
He was incredible, Vlad Senior.
Yeah, Vlad Senior would probably get $1 billion in today's game.
Vlad Senior used to hit home runs on balls that were like in the dirt.
They bounced and he'd still hit it all.
He spent the
insane swing.
And he spent the twilight of his career, like his last, when you're old and lingering around with Baltimore. And I got to see him play live in Baltimore. I got to see him have a couple walk-off hits in Baltimore when our team was terrible. And we used to just sign old veterans as they retired to try to sell tickets.
That Expos team that he was on was really good that got destroyed by the strike in '94.
Yeah, Carl Walker was fantastic. He should have never left and went to Boston.
They had what? They had Larry Walker, Andre Scalaraga, him. I forget who else.
I don't think Vladdy was there yet, was he? Neo? That early '90s team was Walker, DeLiner DeShields.
I thought he was on the '94 team.
No, he came around the league in like '98, '99. I think he was a little bit later. Him and Andrew Jones came in the league at the same time. Andrew Jones came in with the Braves. Vladdy came in with the Expos. And those were kind of like the two rookies of that class when you were buying cards. Maybe it was 95.
No, his rookie year was 96.
96.
So it was after the strike, but his rookie year was 96.
But that Expos team you're talking about, I was a huge fan of that team because DeLiner DeShields played for that team, and he was from.
I always think he was on that team, but you're right, he wasn't.
Yeah, DeShields was from Delaware, and he was like, we don't have many professional players come out of Delaware, and he played at one of the high schools, like 20 minutes from where I went to high school at, and he was a really good basketball and baseball player. He almost won Rookie of the Year.
97 was his first full season. He got a couple at bats in 96.
DeShields would have won Rookie of the Year, but Dave Justice got called up by like the Braves or whoever. I think it was the Braves then, and hit a bunch of home runs towards the end of the season and won Rookie of the Year. But Marquise Grissom was on that team too. He was center fielder. He was really good. DeShields played second. Larry Walker was in the outfield.
Yep.
I don't think Randy Johnson was part of that team still.
Mm-mm.
I can't remember. Pedro.
Man, we need a crazy looking Randy Johnson pitcher in today's MLB. Just intimidating as hell. I know there's some big pitchers, but I just need a guy that looks like a psychopath, like Randy Johnson
What
did.
was the guy on the Phillies that looks like Nicolas Cage from Con Air?
Yeah, but Randy Johnson just looked like, I don't know, like he broke out of prison and moved to a baseball field. He looked mean as hell.
There was a guy that used to be like when Jim Rome's show was more syndicated way back in the day, and he was the guy that did his switchboard. He was talking about being on set during a filming of like an Old Spice commercial or something, and Randy Johnson's line was, "I had a ball," and he kept saying it like, "Oh, I had a ball," and they're like, "Do it again, do it again." The guy's like, this guy was already angry looking, and I'd never seen anybody get more angry looking saying this, and it looked like he was going to throw that Old Spice through the camera.
Neo, anything you want? Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Ziggy?
I know we talked a lot of baseball tonight, more than we normally talk. But when we talk 90s baseball, I mean, I can talk 90s baseball. I just don't talk much baseball nowadays.
Yeah, I haven't watched a baseball game in a long time. It's kind of like I just miss like old baseball. Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux and I miss the steroids back in those days. I wish they just let them do
steroids again to be nice. But going to a game, like I was first time going to a Steinbrenner Field game where they're playing at the Yankees minor league park over here.
If you
I'm just sitting there and I'm watching birds fly by, and I'm like, I'm not used to seeing this.
You see how popular the WWE is? You see how popular it is? That was baseball at the end of the 90s. It was like WWE guys that also were really good baseball players.
Yeah. Huge ripped.
Mark McGwire looked like, I mean, that dude, he was.
Yeah, you walk up to the plate and the catcher all of a sudden got like this small.
It was funny too, because he was a good hitter, obviously, but even if he didn't get all of the ball, it still would be like a shine, like a line drive. That's just like
it had a long bat, massive barrel.
Yeah, it had a chance. Could you imagine if they let them hit with metal bats? They would have hit the thing like
a pitcher would die if he gets hit with the ball.
Someone would get killed.
Yeah, but you could also hit it 1,000 feet. I mean, they would have absolutely destroyed those things.
That's
Yeah,
why
but
I
who
always
was
get
the-
more amazed by the older hitters that were using those huge, heavy 48-ounce bats that just wring your hands to death when you hit the ball.
All right, in baseball, if you had to pick one player that was the
Be right
catalyst. Oh, but you're going to like this one, Dustin.
Oh, he's still there.
I'll stay for this. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you had to pick one player that was the catalyst of the junk wax era, which basically started it. So if we were to relate that to somebody in basketball, let's say maybe in 1920 or 2020 would have been like a Zion, right? Kind of got a catalyst going again for basketball. If you had to name somebody who was kind of like, I would say the main catalyst for the junk wax era, who would it be? Who do you think it would be? I'll give you my name.
What year are you starting in?
It'd be 89 Upper Deck Griffey to me.
No, I'm going to say late 80s, because late 80s is when the junk wax era kind of started.
I just think I go with glossy cards, 89 Upper Deck. But you know what? When I was a kid, though, I liked 89 Score better than 89.
I'm not talking about a card, though. I'm talking about a player.
If it's not Griffey, then it's Canseco or McGuire.
Yeah, I would go.
It's Canseco. It's Canseco.
Yeah,
It's
Canseco.
Canseco.
If you're going with just player,
Because Griffey would have been a rookie in 89, 90. But Griffey would have been a rookie in 89/90. He probably would have actually became a full-time player.
But Griffey had a ton of hype coming in. Like everyone knew, everyone wanted him.
Yeah,
He
he
was
had
like
some
Zion.
hype.
Like everyone, he had a ton of hype before he even
Yeah,
played.
that's why they chose him to head that set and be the #1 card on purpose.
well, and Canseco had that Donruss rookie. I believe it was where he's got the little stash.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
86.
The
The
horrible
86
set.
time run.
That was a really popular card at the
But
card.
I always remember the 87 tops because that was the one that was easily accessible.
Yep.
I don't know if that had a cup on it or not. The gold cup. That had a gold cup on it.
That was the
I know
87
what you're
tops.
talking about.
The 87 tops had the gold with the wood border. Looked
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
McGuire,
yeah.
like the McGuire that you've been showing off.
Yep.
But it was like Canseco. Like I remember the Don Russ being like the first $100 card in the Beckett, and that was like the catalyst that everybody was kind of like, oh my god, Griffey came along a couple years later, so it had already kind of started. But even Griffey in the Beckett, for his rookie class, if you were looking through a Beckett, and that's kind of how we judge popularity and value then, right? We look into Beckett and, oh man, if his card's worth a couple of dollars, he must be going to be something. Him and Sheffield, who I mentioned earlier, were always like the same value. Griffey really didn't take off until, like, from a card standpoint, till like a little bit later.
Yeah, that's why it's always
People
fun to
wanted
look
his
back
stuff.
at an old Beckett and see kind of like where the
Yeah.
market was at that time.
People wanted his stuff because there wasn't a whole lot of other people to chase. I mean, you had the Chris Sabos, who was rookie of the year, but really kind of fell off. Who got rookie of the year the same year as him? Walt Weiss. The shortstop in the 8th. And
He couldn't hit the ball.
yeah, he couldn't hit. I mean, going back to, like I said, middle infielders back in the day weren't known to be hitters. Your shortstops were there for their glove. Look at how many years Ozzie Smith did it
How
for
do
his
you know
glove,
that?
right?
Were you even alive yet, Fuchs?
He knows it because everybody knew that shit back in the junk wax era. Then the Greg Jeffries. We didn't even mention Greg Jeffries. We didn't even say Greg Jeffries yet.
No, somebody said Wally Joyner.
Wally Joyner. And see, we all thought like the 87 Topses were like the rookies. And then you start finding out that there's an 86 Fleer and an update card and a top traded. And because
Ventura was a big one coming up.
well, he was an 89 Tops.
He got punched
Right.
in the face by Nolan Ryan.
Yeah. But
Kevin Moss was a big one for the Yankees.
yeah, he was the same year as Deliner to Shields that I was just talking about. That would have been like more like a 90 or 91. 90.
What was Brian Taylor's rookie year? Was it 91 or 92? The pitcher for
His
the
card
Yankees?
was an 82. His card was an 82. Lawrence Taylor, football. His card would have been 82 Tops.
Yeah, Brian Taylor, yeah.
Oh, Brian Taylor. I thought you said Lawrence Taylor.
No, sorry.
He
Brian
had
Taylor,
a-
the pitcher for the Yankees, that was like ridiculous. And then he got
Yeah.
never
He
was.
never even really played. He had the #1 draft pick card in Tops.
Todd Zeal, Mike Greenwell, yep.
Mike Greenwell was 87 Tops with the wood border.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of those guys get lost in those, and those cards. I mean, pretty much if you're not like they were saying, clear glossy.
Well, you're forgetting about the rookie of the year. You're forgetting about the rookie of the year from that year with Jerome Walton. Everybody's bouncing all those names off the board except Jerome Walton, who was the rookie of the year, and was that '89? Griffey's rookie year.
I think so.
And his stuff would have been in the upper. Remember, Upper Deck put out a high number set
Mm-hmm.
that had the Zeal in it and the Jerome Walton card in it, and those were like chase cards then.
Mark Grace, yeah, that was another one too.
He goes back to '88 Don Russ rated rookies.
Yep. I mean, and then you're also talking about some of the. I mean, like one that gets lost in there is Greg Maddox rookie card.
Yeah, the man's the Hall of Famer. We're talking about guys that kind of.
I know, but back then he wasn't. He wasn't considered anything.
Well, nobody was. Nobody's considered a Hall of Famer when they're a rookie.
You know what I mean, though, being like that guy that they're assuming is going to be a great player.
Mark Grace.
I don't know.
Christian Leitner.
Mark Grace is good.
Yeah, but he's never been a super nice person.
He hasn't.
No.
With a name like Grace, I mean, you would think he'd be really friendly.
He don't have it. He's one of those. Somebody said something to me the other day. Why white baseball players are the most entitled athlete?
Damn, maybe they're just tired of grown men with beards and your hair pulled back coming up to them at spring training asking them for autographs.
The Spanish guys don't care.
Put 'em on
You say hi to
Put 'em on eBay.
Mike Trout, just run away.
I'm going to sign this and you're going to put it on the bag.
Think about how nice hockey players are and how gracious they are.
I don't know about hockey players.
It's 'cause they're all Canadian.
You have sympathizers in the chat, Neo. A lot of sympathizers.
Is this live? Yes, Rip and List. This is live. Curio signs everything. For now.
And Chris K is a Dolphins fan, you see. Jay, I haven't seen Jay in a while.
What's up, Jay?
Hey, Jay.
The
Still playing
non-sports
here. I remember that name.
Yeah, no, that was funny. What not funny just said. That's even funnier, I guess. I do miss the old Jim Rome show. He had some good stuff on there.
The what?
Jim Rome, when he used to have his talk show that was syndicated.
Yeah.
They were talking about Mark Grace. There was a story about a Mark Grace slump buster. And it's a really funny story. If you can go find it on YouTube, I'm sure.
Oh, no, I've never seen it.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Golden State, 17 in a row. Golden State knocked off the Rockets. And the Rockets were seeded number 2, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, man, those seedings don't mean anything. When you get in there with the veterans versus those young teams,
yep,
it's all about playoff basketball and the veterans.
And I was hoping Orlando didn't have to play the Celtics first round so they could at least get through a round.
You're an Orlando fan when it comes to basketball?
Yep.
When did that start?
When Shaquille O'Neal came to Orlando.
Anybody ever heard Ham ever say he likes Orlando?
I haven't heard
I
that
didn't even know
before,
Ham knew what
but
the NBA was.
I was also,
I'm here like, what?
I lived in Florida during the Shaq years, and it was, yeah. I remember that LSU, I think it was a classic card, that LSU card where he's dunking. That was an expensive card.
It was, when that first came out, that was a $50 card straight up.
You know who owned that company? You know who owned that company? Wasn't that Ken Golden's company?
Classic? Ken Golden owned Classic? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, Classic started as like a game, didn't it?
Look, check this out. Look at this. Anthony Hardaway jumbo rookie auto from Upper Deck.
That's pretty cool.
Didn't Classic start as like a game? I remember buying a Classic set that had Ken Griffey Jr. in it, the baseball set, and it came with like game pieces and stuff.
That's how you used to pimp chains out back in the day, boys. Right there. Look at that honker.
Why do you have that in your room?
It's in a box
over your bed. It's
calm down, Steve.
Yeah, Golden owned Scoreboard. Yeah, I don't. Classic was something else, right?
Scoreboard. There you go. Thanks, Charles. That was wrong. Yeah, Classic was like a game, I thought.
I just remember the cards. They had a lot of football cards.
They had a lot of
Yeah,
NASCAR.
but like, if you bought like the complete set, it came in like a game.
I don't remember that.
Am I like dreaming that? I thought for sure it came in like a game.
I remember them having a lot of NASCAR cards.
Yeah. That was pre-Mandela effect.
Jay, do you know if the Classic came with like a game? Was there like a game version of Classic? The sets? It came with like game pieces and stuff.
I had the 90s Classic game, Michael Frankie.
I'm saying I remember the Classic cards coming in a set. Now the cards were in a brick wrapped in cellophane, but it came in a box, and the box had like game pieces and stuff in it, like it was some kind of game.
Yeah, they're saying there was a
Chad
solid
agrees with
border.
you.
You got a
There's
few
solid
people saying it
border
was a
cards,
game.
yeah.
What's up, Victor? Victor says it was a game. Yeah. I just remember the cards. I remember buying classic packs.
Yeah,
They're
because people would,
classic packs.
yeah, people would mainly just buy the game and bust the cellophane pack out. But I remember there would be like two colors, because I remember Griffey had like a photo shot, like a portrait shot that was an orange border, and he had a batting shot that was like a purple border. And one of them I think was from the game, and one of them might not have been from the game.
Yeah.
This is so long ago that I might have been dreaming this shit. I don't know, but if you guys in the comments know what I'm talking about, make me feel like I'm not crazy.
This was almost 40 years ago, Steve. So
It's pretty long ago. It's testing everybody's age anyway.
Yeah.
yeah, Shaq's Flair Ultra rookie card. I love Flair Ultra. Man,
Well, I
when that
always
came
liked
out,
the upper
I loved
deck
it.
card because you had the trade card and the regular card. The trade card came out in Series 1. And then in Series 2, you could pull the regular card that was a trade card, but it said #1 draft pick. So technically, the trade card's the rare card, even though the #1 draft pick sells for more.
Yeah, that's true.
You had to send in the card to get redemption. They would punch a hole in it and then send you back the Shaq rookie card with your redemption card. And that was just in a penny sleeve. So good luck getting it back in a straight envelope in a penny sleeve back in the day. And it's a solid black border card.
Talk about card companies being lazy these days, but it was the exact same card. They just stamped trade card on top of the redemption and #1 draft pick on the Series 2 card or whatever.
I think I had a classic card of Drew Bledsoe where it was limited edition 1 out of 40,000. You know, it wasn't numbered. It wasn't serial number, but it said 1 of 40,000.
Yeah. That's the 1 of 1. I love it when eBay they're selling it as the 1 of 1, thinking it's the first one.
The way to go on Shaq rookies, in my opinion, well, I mean, the ones with the best eye appeal is like the Bean team.
By far.
I think the Magic All Rookie Team insert gets love. Or PSA 10 of the #1 draft pick card you're talking about gets love. But I mean, if you really wanted to like go after chase more rarity on the Shaq stuff, you need to go after the stuff that was redemptions, like the Skybox and Hoops. I think it was a redemption of the Hoops. Skybox might not have been a redemption.
So the Hoops, I have that complete sealed redemption set.
Right. It was a complete, but that's what I'm saying is like nowadays, you can't bust that stuff. Like you can go buy old Stadium Club boxes and bust them and hope to pull a Beam team of Shaq. You can go buy old Hoops and hope to pull his Magic All Rookie team. And we all know that stuff really isn't low number print.
You're talking about this.
The thing about the thing about the redemption #1 draft pick cards is that even if you go back and open old product, you're pulling redemption cards. You're not getting the actual card, which means those can't be, no matter how many boxes of that shit is sitting in warehouses waiting to be ripped, it doesn't matter. You can't redeem and get those cards.
Whatever's out there is out there, and everything else.
So what's out there is out there. Now, Stadium Club Series 2, you can go probably rip the hell out of that and pull Beam teams.
I have
You're hoping
jumbo box.
to get high grade, and they probably are sticking together. But
So there's I mean, I know mine don't stick together, but yeah, most Stadium Clubs brick. But mine have always stayed.
Stadium Club's a brick.
They brick because of the gloss on them.
Yeah, they need to be in like a humidity controlled atmosphere environment.
Yep.
Just like at the casino where we store our playing cards and stuff, we have to control the humidity in that room. Little tidbit.
Golden or scoreboard.
So many promos and limited edition stuff back in the day. Hell, we had like Batman movie like McDonald's cups that we collected, like collect all 6. It was collect all of one of 8 or one of 6. Like everything was collectible in the early 90s, especially. Fun times.
Space 99. That's good to get a 9 out of that card. 10's nearly impossible.
On stage.
Most of those you're going to find in their wild still, they're going to be in a screw down.
You know what's funny? The way that I'm watching this on my phone is in order to see the chat, I have to hit the chat button, which takes away the screen that I'm looking at right now of all you guys, which is actually great. But when you pull a comment up, it says on stage in the comments instead of just like pulling it over. So I can tell which one you have up there. It says on stage.
Yeah, the 90 Fleer Jordan 3D cards. Yeah, those you don't see those pop up hardly ever.
Ooh, Steph Curry out for the game with a hamstring injury.
Uh-oh.
Steph out. Oh,
He doesn't even run. You just tell him to stand still and shoot.
plot twist.
Uh-oh. Bring in Caitlin Clark. We need somebody who can shoot threes.
And fill seats. Caitlin Clark.
We haven't talked about this, but
Dusty
Buns confirmed for New York. Ham and Steve, are you guys going to ride or die with the 4 Horsemen, or are you leaving
That's
me
right.
and Dusty alone? And
I want to. I just got to see about getting that Friday off for work.
Here we go with the excuses.
Yeah,
Steve,
we're late.
are you in for New York, or what are you doing?
Man, it's more on the side of no than yeah.
See how they like it, Dustin? They just leave us hanging.
Looks like
Dustin didn't even tell nobody.
It's going to be the 2 Horsemen.
Yeah,
Dustin
I found out because Dustin posted a video, not because you think he would text me and be
if
like,
you
hey,
didn't put it in text message, I wouldn't even know.
Guys, I need those 3 views. And then we
Yeah,
can
but the thing is, you post a video, I'm on an airplane, and then I land, and your next video is out for the next day, so I missed the previous day's video.
It's crossing.
It's facts.
Ew. Don't ever eat the chin if you get this candy.
I'm kind of worried that you're. Yeah, I'm concerned about what you're eating over there, Steve.
I don't know. It's like Peru's version of M&M.
Chin in Asia.
It's not very good. Ugh. Now this law, I can't pronounce that.
Are you trying to get diabetes while you're there? What are you doing?
I'm just having a little piece of chocolate, man. I'm on vacation.
Okay. I get it.
he's just living one life, man. One life.
One life. Chin-chins, whatever that bar was, drinking some weird soda.
One life. That's why you guys better get to New York.
Coca-Cola. People come to Peru just for this.
I mean, New York is fun without any show to go to, let alone.
I've never been to New York.
So it's going to be. You never been? Oh man, Ham, try to make it up if you can. I know it's a kind of a pain, but make it up if you can.
Just quit your job. Go cards full time.
Yeah,
I don't flip cards.
Well,
I'll flip other stuff on eBay. That's easy to do. I go yard sales. That's why I like what Gary Vee always talks about with yard sales. That's what I used to do in the early 2000s as a side job. I'd get up early on Fridays and Saturdays, find stuff, list it on eBay, and just turn and burn.
Billy Bond said something about taking it on the chin. Yeah, here. That mess.
Brad Noble has a good question at 10:35. I think it just depends, Brad.
I'm sure I answered it the other day when we were having wings.
I've never been to Fanatics Fest, so Neo would be best to answer the differences between the two.
If you're taking kids and you want to hang out in New York City for the weekend, it's Fanatics Fest. If you want to nerd out over cards for 5 days, it's the National.
Coming from the guy with no kids.
I can walk around the room and see how much fun kids are having without having
Instead of reading the room. He just read the room is all.
Yeah. when I watch 12-year-olds just run out the WWE thing like for 4 straight hours, losing their minds, having the time of their life.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess within Fanatics Fest itself, but if you're in New York City, then you got to keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
New York City is not that bad for a tourist.
It's, I mean, depends on what you're talking about. We were talking about crowds and traffic. It is bad.
Yeah.
If you're talking about crime, it's not so bad if you're in the Manhattan area. I mean, but get outside of there. I was just there in February. Remember, I had to come home early, but I was there because New York is fun. You're right. New York is a blast. My wife and I were having a good time. We literally went up there just for a couple days because it's fun. But I'd love to go to Fanatics Fest. To me, it's about time. I don't have all the extra time. In order to get a week off for the National, I need to save up enough time from my job to be able to go. I just spent 2 weeks away from my job, burning up vacation time here in Peru. Still doing it.
Yeah, I hear you. Ziggy,
And I was supposed to go back to work on Thursday. I was supposed to go back to work on Thursday, and I actually audibled while I was already on vacation and said, hey, I'm coming back Friday. I mean, I was supposed to go back Friday, and I actually audibled and said I'm coming back Saturday. So
this is a true statement. NYC is better than Atlantic City with the fam. Yes.
Well,
The
yeah.
Nationals in Chicago. Not
Atlantic City has nothing. Atlantic City was built as a gambling town, and the only place you could gamble were Atlantic City and Vegas and the Native American reservations and some boats. But you can go to a casino anywhere now. So Atlantic City has nothing special to offer.
I hope I never have to go back to that shithole.
And the fact that all the casinos are
5 minutes since I've been going to the
and everything on the boardwalk's closing down. That's the only thing that had to offer, because the beaches on the boardwalk there aren't even necessarily nice. You're better off to go 2 more hours south to Delaware, where everybody goes. Believe that, because when I get home, it's going to be packed with tourists where I live.
Vezos, Chris. Vezos is the place to go for pizza in New York City. In Midtown.
I went to
Midtown.
John's of Bleecker. I went to John's of Bleecker Street. It just seemed like the thing to do. And it was really good. But I think it was so overhyped that I don't want to say it was a letdown, but it wasn't like, I thought I was going to like levitate and like my soul was going to come out and I was going to be looking down at myself eating this heavenly pizza. And it was like, it was really good, but no levitation.
Whatever.
Yeah, John's Bleecker is good, but you're not getting like, it's not the second coming of Jesus.
Food here is really good in Peru. In Lima, it doesn't even matter. You don't have to be eating Peruvian cuisine. You can be eating anything. This is actually the food capital of South America. Lima. There's like Michelin 5-star restaurants and stuff like this. You can get Chinese food, Italian food, Peruvian cuisine, steak. I mean, sushi. You can get whatever here. It's not just like, hey, we're serving Peruvian dishes and that's it.
If the National
that's all you can get.
If the National went back to AC, would you go, or would you actually consider skipping it?
Me?
Just around the horn.
Nope.
I would go because I can drive there.
Well, yeah, it's easy for you. So you
So
have
it's
to
a
travel.
little, for me, it's a little.
You know what? I would drive too. So yeah, I'd drive it. I'd still go. Yeah.
I mean, I drove it, and it better not ever. I don't think it's not a concern. It's never going to go back there.
Yeah, it's not going to concern you. You're right.
The dealers will never vote for it.
It's gonna be somewhere bigger after that.
I mean, I don't think it had a bad show itself there. The trade natural credit. It was really the logistics. It was really the getting around Atlantic City and having to get cabs everywhere and things like that. But I mean,
like Cleveland was more convenient, in my honest opinion.
Cleveland has been my favorite natty.
I liked. Yeah, I like Cleveland. I liked it.
Where do you want to see it go after we get through this Chicago run? Like, are we going to be bored with Chicago after 3 straight years?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're only strictly going for the cards and the card show, then probably, yeah. If you're going to see other things, that's why Cleveland was so fun. Like, we did so much other stuff.
Yeah, they won't take it to Vegas.
No, it's gonna be East Coast. I think Nashville or Indy.
Yeah, they got to go somewhere that has a place big enough to hold it. I mean, I'd be happy if they came down to Orlando.
Nashville would be crazy.
I think
I
Nashville.
don't know what Nashville's convention center scene is like, but Indy has a huge downtown convention center that's connected to the.
We have our guest. He has joined.
I'm here.
And before I have him on, I'm actually going to recreate a moment here.
Uh-oh.
If I can get this right. So everybody quiet. Drum roll. Not a drum roll. Just kidding. Good to see you again, Gary.
Great to see you, Dustin.
I brought a friend just in case.
A beautiful friend.
It's Gary Vee.
What's up, man?
I had to recreate. So that was 5 years ago on Coffee and Commerce. And I showed the Pistol Pete. So I had to grab the Pistol Pete for the show. Welcome back.
It is wonderful to be with you, handsome men. I appreciate it.
Well, Neo is up in the top left. He's struggling a little bit as a Cavs fan. He just watched that game live on the stream. I would have probably broken something and logged off, but he's stayed strong. He's still here.
Neo, I'm such a Spider fan. I hate the Pacers too. I'm a Knicks fan.
You're having a good week.
Yeah, I mean, a good day yesterday. We'll see. I mean, like, it's funny. I did not see. I first of all, the Cavs with all those injuries to play the way they played tonight, to lose that kind of game, man. Like, you got to be sick. Like I don't feel super bad for you. Listen, Neo, you've won a title recently. I've never seen the Knicks win a title, so I can only feel so bad for you. That LeBron block is like, I would rip my arm off to have that 3-1 comeback championship. So I struggle to overly feel sad for you, but I've got to say, anytime you lose a game like that, it could be a regular season game and you could be like a solid fan and you're disgusted, but like, that series is in big trouble and you have a really good team. It sucks. I actually like your team a lot. I like your team a lot. I feel bad.
With the injuries.
Neo, stop whining. Stop whining. Gary, we're going to start. We are going to talk about VFriends, but I have a small mini beef that I want to address with you because Can we make it a significant beef? Let's take it from a mini beef and level it up. All right, let's level it up. I miss the sports card commentary stuff. And I know you do it. I know you do it from time to time, but I feel like you're focused on VFriends. I get it.
I'm not. I'm buying a lot of cards. Dust, you'll appreciate this. This whole crew will appreciate it. I got caught in a very rock and hard place.
Oh, well, yeah.
No. I talked about cards, and then 9,000 fucking people made up 18,000 rumors. There was a rumor that I dumped a trillion Zion. I never bought a single Zion card in my life. Like, people, unfortunately, people believe made up stories at scale in society. And honestly, I just felt like I worked too hard. My parents raised me too right. And I care to be a good dude. I'm an entrepreneur. I try to build and all that. But the sheer scale that every single social media post or comment I would make about cards, the sheer scale of people making up stuff and tarnishing my reputation didn't feel like worth it. It's why I got so attracted to NFTs. NFTs, the blockchain shows you everything you do with your collection. And that was incredibly attractive to me, especially in reaction to people coming up with 9 million stories. And I'll be honest with you, it was very challenging for me, for people coming up to me and being like, I don't like what you're doing to the hobby. And then I'd be, at the national, and I'd be like, hey man, respect, but what are you upset about? They're like, well, you bought and dumped all these. I'm like, that's just not true. And they're like, oh, really? And you start getting into a place as a public figure where you're like, fuck man, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. And so I talk about it in the macro. I continued to collect and buy. I bought a fucking Jalen Hurts gold kaboom the other day. I'm a huge collector. I've been passionate about this my whole life. Obviously, it's easy for me to build VFriends from a different angle, right? Because I'm building that. But, I don't know really what to do, Dust. I want to talk more about cards. But it was incredibly challenging me to navigate it because sharing the content. And by the way, I'll be honest with you, I'm deeply empathetic. I'm aware I have a large audience. I'm aware that me being like, I like this, could lead to the market moving because people are looking to flip quickly. I just got into a place where I was like, what do I do with this? Like, I don't want people to be mad at me. I'm able to enjoy my hobby quietly, you know, and people that know, but also, you know, things ebb and flow. And I feel like more and more people have gotten to know me one by one at the national or local card shops, definitely through this last 4 or 5 months, because I've been building real relationships as gearing up for this VFriends drop. And I'd like to share more about card. I mean, you know, I shared a little bit at the TAPS local card store convention last week in Atlanta. I've been quietly, but not so quietly, because my eBay purchases are there. Like, I'm very bullish on fictional character rookie cards. I'm obsessed with the 66 Donruss Marvel set. I love vintage. But I'm also a diehard Jets fan and bought some Justin Fields 101. So what do you want from me? I'm just kind of living it. So I'm just trying to figure out my way, Dust. It stinks, but I understand the punchline of it all. I'm just trying to figure out my way.
I mean, I remember peak pandemic, you would post a photo of a card with no context, just like, here's a cool card. And then you could just literally see the eBay sales.
and that wasn't lost on me, Neo. And so, you know, it's one thing, it's a whole different thing of like, hey, I love KD and I want to buy his cards. And to your point, if I post a McDonald's card or the Chrome, like that, I'm like, okay, like I don't want that to be true. So that already had me like, fuck, I need to be like, there's nothing good that can come of that, especially for me, because I already kind of committed to, I have enough of a public figure-ness that I'm not going to sell my cards. That was like a big thing I decided in 18 when I started buying. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm in this forever. My son's of an age where I want him to get these cards anyway. I'm not going to flip these cards. And I thought that would be enough, right? To like kind of protect the concept of like pump and dump and all that stuff. Then it became such a big to-do. And then to your point, that would happen. That was all fine because I could control that. What became impossible was just like the enormity of just made up shit.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that makes sense. Yeah, it's a tough spot.
By the way, social media, like again, I've been around this social media game and like being a public figure for a long time. So I was okay with that too. I think everything in life is about being accountable. And Dustin, to answer your question, my answer to that accountability is I'm not going to post because I think that's better than, you know, to Neo's point, like if I'm excited about like the shit thank God I kind of stopped. You should see what I'm buying now. I'm buying like fucking Bugs Bunny rookie cards and like,
let's spin that way, because there's a couple of different questions on the back of that. And we'll get into VFriends, but you know, we're all guys that collect non-sports. So we collect sports, but you know, I've shown the card, you know, I've got like an Art to Bart 93 box, you know, and we all have, you know, Star Wars, you know, we've got Stranger Things. Yep. There it is. The vintage stuff.
I'm obsessed with this card. Spider-Man's rookie.
Yeah, that's awesome. The vintage stuff is the Jay in the chat would love that. Jay's got all that stuff. You know, the non-sport, this is the stuff that we hope that Panini really goes after, you know, as they're moving away from, you know, sports licenses. And you saw Minecraft come out, and I really hope Panini goes hard on some big IP. And you're kind of in that world. Can you talk about, I guess, kind of the evolution of non-sports and where you see that going? I was excited about Zero Cool, and then Zero Cool kind of melded back into Topps. And
yeah, Topps bought it because they wanted Luber at the time. I'm obsessed with it, man. Like I can, you know, what kind, you know, and all you men were there when this happened. When I started yelling about sports cards in 2018, 19, pre-pandemic, that was on the back of about a year of me doing homework. Went to the Cleveland National that year, looked at all the eBay comps, read social media. It's kind of what I do for a living outside of the card world, you know, like social listening, consumer insights. And I was like, oh shit, cards are about to get hot. All these sneaker kids are coming, the gambling kids. Like, I was like, it's happening. Like, and I like checked myself for 6 months because I'm like, am I saying it's coming back to myself because I love this hobby more? You know, like I was kind of like in that mode. Similar thing, Dust, guys, Steve, like for the last 2 years, I'm like, oh shit, non-sports cards are going to happen. And you see it. If like I walked Comic-Con New York last year, and like compared to the year before, there was more people buying cards that have historically never bought cards before. You look at the eBay data, you look at the, trends, you look at Card Ladder, like you read social media, like it's very clear to me that the Comic-Con crew is coming into our hobby slowly but surely. And I think it's remarkable. I think Topps Chrome has done a good job for the new stuff, like the Disney and Marvel stuff has been really strong. And then I think just in general, like I don't think people, a lot of sports only people, and I'm a heavy sports dude, but a lot of sports only people, I don't think understand the depth of, and it's really funny, the depth of collecting. Something different about the non-sports world is there's a higher percentage of collecting. Yeah. Whereas I think in the sports world, there's a higher speculation and flipping. And listen, I have both parts in my body. I think it's crazy for anyone on either side to think like, I love when people are like, well, the hobby should be, I'm like, should is a scary word. Should based on who? You're not God. Some people are allowed to collect. Some people are allowed to flip. A lot of people flip to be able to afford to collect what they want to collect. So there's a million ways to do this. We all know that, but I am excited to go to National 2031 and see a lot more of that Comic-Con crew there. And I think all things rise. So what I do for a living in VaynerMedia, my marketing company, which for context for people listening, almost 3,000 employees, one of the biggest marketing companies in the world. I have 500 people in Asia and Europe, and we do a lot of work on social. We spend billions of dollars in media for the biggest brands in the world. It's a real business. Let's put it that way. We follow trends. I've already followed through that department that does that analytics, hundreds of people who have entered trading cards for the first time through Disney Chrome or Marvel Chrome, and within months post their first sports card because they also happen, even though they're 90% Comic-Con, they're a baseball fan and they're a Nationals fan, and then they go from like collecting Captain America and to, you know what, I'm going to pick up a couple Dylan Cruz rookie cards. Yeah. So I think the gateway drug of non-sports cards to sports cards is going to be, at first everyone's like, but I think in 5 years they're going to be like, oh shit, that was good because it expanded our overall hobby as well overall. And so I actually think, and I've been following the hobby since 1984 and really since 86, 87 as a business, before then as a kid. I think the hobby's in the single best place it's ever been because you had this little bubble burst of COVID that has taught a lot of people that are in the game right now what not to do because it's only a couple years later. And I don't think kids are going to be I don't think Jackson Dart cards are going to be speculated the way that Mac Jones cards were. And I think that's healthy.
Yeah, we've seen that with the Pokemon cards as well, that people are starting to go both directions. The sports card guys now selling Pokemon. And the Pokemon
well, Michael, to that point, that's just commerce and capitalism, right? Yeah. Like, a lot of the dealers and owners, they're no bozos. Like, how many times are you going to be sports card only and have 400 fucking people come to the store in a week asking you for Pokemon cards before you're like, fuck it? Yeah. like you're running a business,
Yeah.
Now, Gary, sorry, Neo, hold that thought one second because I want to hear kind of we are, I guess what you would think are like the target audience. We are non-sports buyers and sports card buyers. So VFriends would be something that we would be kind of a target audience. But we live in a world where you've got Marvel and Pokemon and Star Wars and kind of all these big IPs, and you're trying to grow VFriends into kind of one of these, huge IPs. What's the pitch, I guess, kind of just going back? Because as far as I know, I don't think anyone here owns any VFriends. Yeah. And so we're speculators and collectors. You know, so what's your thought?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, the concept of a pitch is challenging. Like, I'm in the business of conviction more than I am in convincing, Dust.
Sure.
But I appreciate it, and I understand you're doing something nice here. Here's what I would say. First of all, I have to execute perfectly for the next 20 years to get into sniffing distance of some of the IPs we just mentioned. Let's not be delusional. Like let it be clear to everybody, when I'm running around on podcasts and shows and stages saying I'm trying, the words are very specific. I'm trying over the next several decades to build a Pokemon, Marvel, Sesame Street like IP. I think, so first, it's not lost on me that like I'm a pimple of the ass of those IPs. On the flip side, I was there day one because my brother's 11 years younger than me, and watched Pokemon kind of day one in America. Obviously had a little juice in Japan, but the internet didn't exist, so we didn't know.
Yeah.
And I watched those card stores in New Jersey and New York, like day one, those Pokemon cards, like they were hot immediately, as you know, like, right? It was like, and they got real hot. And look, I mean, whether it's Coco Melon, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's Bluey, like you watch these new intellectual properties be born, and you know, there's millions of views of my cartoons on YouTube. There's 4 years of VFriends trading cards demand. I think the hobby, I'm very aware that VFriends is not part of the hobby yet. I've been building it on the peripheral outside the hobby. The only time the hobby has felt VFriends is when people are like, why are there so many people at the VFriends booth at the National? And everyone defaults into like, they're there to see me, which is, there's some truth to that. But we've been like, I think I did this well, if I may, in that like, I'm aware that a lot of people are like, oh, this is meta zoo. Like I hear everything. I understand what people are thinking. And I'm empathetic to that, Dust. Back to Neo's point, I get it. Like when I would post something, like I get the thoughts. That doesn't deter me, nor does it, you know, change anything that I'm doing. I'm day by day building this brand. And what we've done really well for the people that have paid attention is there's 3 years of eBay comps on VFriends cards that are healthy. We've built 5,000 to 10,000 real collectors that really care over 4 years, who are losing their mind because, let's call a spade, this Topps Chrome product's a hell of a lot better than the Zero Cool products I've made so far, and they're losing their mind. I think the pitch, if someone's trying to think about this, is you don't get a lot of at-bats to get into big things early that most people don't see yet. And if I'm looking at me from afar, I'm saying, all right, here's a dude who was right about Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and Uber. Like I've got a 25-year track record of building businesses. So at least there's a hope and a prayer to think like, oh, this guy might be able to get the world to care about these characters. And if that becomes true, well, then this becomes an interesting product. I also think the thing I'm most proud of is when you look at the product, I spent a lot of time on producing a product that I thought would be incredibly good for girls and boys. So, you know, I apologize. I don't know the background of everyone here on where they are in fatherhood or if they have children, but I'm sure it's not going to be lost on the audience. Having common interests with your kids is a big deal. And, you know, even in life, right? Like look at the friends you still have. It's because you have common interests, whether it's cards or sports or movies. So a lot of the other pitch is, if you're a dad watching right now and you have a 4 to 11-year-old girl, and you're looking to have a hobby with her where you can talk to her about good attributes like ambition and kindness and empathy, but also accountability and tenacity and competitiveness. I did make a product that I think is going to really crush for dads looking for something to collect with their daughters. There was a lot in the packaging that I thought about, that I cared about, thinking about that daughter that gets dragged in. And I'm very aware that many daughters collect sports and all this. I'm just generalizing right now because I've been to a lot of shows and a lot of card shops. Like, you know, just like, you know, them seeing this packaging and getting excited about Ambitious Angel or Decisive Duck. So there's some pretty cool stuff. Honestly, it's also grounded in very good attributes. Like this is teaching good lessons. It's Pokemon on the facade, but it's Sesame Street in the underbelly as an IP. And I think a lot of parenting is hard these days. I feel like VFriends is giving a little support to those parents. I'm proud of that. I feel good about that.
Neo, do you have something?
A different question from what I was going to ask before. Like behind the scenes, like working through this first full release of a major product like this under the Topps Chrome brand, was there like something that popped up that you like weren't expecting as a challenge or a hurdle, like whether it be the design or just maybe something that's completely in the weeds that we were just like, oh God, I never even thought about this as like
nothing that was monstrous, you know, but definitely like annoyances and like, God darn it. So the first one was Topps just was not willing to produce the volume that I wanted them to. And again, you know, I've said it 3 times. I think this is why I like Empathy Elephant so much in VFriends. I have empathy. I'm like, I get it. Like, you know, that, yeah, Gary Vee's that, like, you know, like they don't know. And like, they don't need and Chrome's it's a real brand. And so like, they don't need a Chrome flop, right? Yeah. Like they're on fire right now with non-sports. So this was a risk for them. And so I get that. I just knew though, and I was trying to show them, Neo, I was like, look at these comp sales. Look what we're doing on Whatnot and Fanatics Live. I'm like, you guys know what I'm doing on Fanatics Live, you know, talking to them. I'm telling you, like, I can, like, this is what you're proposing to produce is like less than I need for my live streams for the year. Like, you know, but ultimately, so that was tough. And I'll be honest with you, it's playing out right now. Like this box came out at $99. There was a reason it was $99. I want to get this product into people's hands. But here we are on the eve of the launch and, you know, they're $350 on the secondary before they've really come out. You know, and so
I saw they're doing an EQL launch for tomorrow too.
Yeah, and we did an EQL on the pre-sale, and like they were blown away. Listen, it's been very enjoyable to like stun all the Topps executives with the demand. You know, I'm proud of that. So, but that was tough, and that's okay. We signed a long-term deal, and we'll do it in 26, and we'll get it right. The other annoyance was I have some pretty big characters. The very, very, very lucky black cat is like a big deal in our world. Very collectible. Like everything we put the product in, like is gold. And I desperately, 1 second, friends. I desperately wanted it to be shore printed. And that was something I couldn't get accomplished, but I came up with something cool. You guys might like this. I did a head nod to Pokemon's Pikachu red and yellow cheeks. Okay. And I was able to get in this set, the black cat has 6 different variants with eye colors. So there's the yellow base, and then the rarest is a green, and there's a white and a blue and a purple in between. So that was really cool. That'll be a fun chase for the hardcore VFriends maxis.
Made it an eye rainbow.
So that was really cool, Mike. All in all, Topps was great to work with, real pros. But, you know, like I will say this, I don't think I'll be facing the same hurdles in 26 as I was in 25. I think a lot of internal Topps naysayers, and again, nobody was rude or anything like that, but the people are like, well, you know, whatever. Like, you know, I think they've been surprised with how hard I've worked. I mean, I've literally for 4 months reached out to basically every local card store in the country on Instagram, you know, one by one, building relationships. It's fucking 11 p.m. at night. Right now, I'm on with you characters. You know, I'm working. I care about this. I enjoy this. I want to build something. I've really put my name behind it. I'm out here pontificating that I'm going to build something huge. I don't think I can afford to flop on my face. That's not good for the reputation or my own competitive spirit. So all in all, pretty good experience. But I wanted to give you some real truths and authenticity and transparency. And those were some of the hurdles I was dealing with.
Awesome.
When you were talking about the product coming out at $99 and then obviously the resale is higher, one of the things that we talk about in the hobby constantly is the affordability for somebody to be able to actually get product, especially with the way breaking is today. And it's very difficult. Even in the stores now, you go to Target, what used to be a $20 blaster. Sometimes it's $40, $50, and there's still a line of people. I mean, Pokemon's crazy right now. There's 50 people just camping out like pandemic time to get Pokemon, and they don't even know if it's coming out that day. But they're there anyway. And we're kind of getting to the point now, like you said, you're trying to get this into a father's hand with a daughter and stuff like that. How do they access that if they can't even get to it?
It was a big reason we did GameStop. So tomorrow, literally 1,000 GameStops in the country selling blasters at $25. I'm very proud of that. I fought like hell for that.
That's awesome.
So for those looking, that they need to get out to GameStop in the morning.
Yeah, I think I heard, and this is I haven't been to a GameStop in a little bit. Like I heard GameStop's open at like noon, so just in case.
It's like 11. Yeah, here 11.
You know, brother, it's a great question. In fact, one of the carve outs we did with Topps is, I don't know if I have one here. If you go to eBay, we do a lot of super stickers. So it's like kind of like a card product, but it's a sticker, but it's kind of a head nod to that 85 Prism basketball vending machine stickers, you know? Yep, so, you know, one of the reactions now that these prices are so high is I'm thinking about creating a hobby product of super sticker boxes and keeping the price nice and low. You know, I think it's really important that the hobby recognizes this, and I think Panini and Topps need to really pay attention. And obviously, I'm aware that Topps is getting so many of the licenses and Panini, but like, you know, when Panini, let's just talk what we were talking about. When Panini gets these, you know, fictional character or other IPs, like, is Prism going to put out $80 boxes? I don't think so.
No.
Like, and so
at this point, I think everybody starts high, and if it doesn't sell, then they'll drop. But again, with people having to break and have to have new product, it's going to keep a price point for almost any product moving forward that's even decent, because they need to have it to break.
Yeah,
well, and they're doing reverse Dutch auctions on stuff. So if Panini does, you know, they might just do that for everything or for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
look, it's a real challenge. Making things price prohibitive is obviously not a good thing ever. But like, look, LVMH is one of the biggest companies in the world, and all their products are expensive. So like, I'm not going to sit here and pontificate. This is capitalism.
It's about making money too, but it's also trying to keep the people that are in that hobby interested in your product. And if you all of a sudden can't ever get anything, you start losing people. And at the end of the day, at some point, I think this breaking thing will come to a halt. Like, there'll be enough is enough, whether it's 2 years, 3 years down the line. I don't think it's 10 years this is going on.
The thing though, Michael, is like, there's a really important thing about breaking that people don't understand is there's an entertainment element that's really important.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you look at China, I call it commerce-tainment, right? Like, there's a lot more going on than just the ripping of the packs, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's why a lot of us on this call grew up listening to sports radio all the time, right? Like, there's a lot going on. So like, I don't know if there's a breaking point. I think it's more of there's an opportunity, right? There's and entrepreneurship always changes the game.
Oh yeah.
There's an opportunity for entrepreneurs to come along and make unlicensed product in sports that is very affordable, and they might be able to create a big thing.
You see these smaller brands that come out with single cards like Gas and stuff like that. They get an autograph, or they just do a one-person thing, and it sells very well. And it has a good secondary market.
There'll be a lot of evolution, and you know this, like, things ebb and flow.
Yep.
And like, there'll be a day where like this is not a continuous forever thing. I do think the hobby's more balanced than ever, but like, you know, look, I think the hobby's actually expanding dramatically.
Yes.
So I actually internationally, different things, like, it's going to be interesting. But to your point, look, I mean, you listen. You're hearing it from the horse's mouth. That $25, $99 thing was imperative for me to launch VFriends.
Oh, yeah.
I was worried that if we didn't make enough, there was way more demand, even in just the VFriends community, let alone knowing that it was going to broaden because of the launch. That's happened. But, you know, I'm really proud that tomorrow there's 1,000 GameStops in America where you can get a blaster for $25, and these things are loaded. I've started seeing them open, and so I'm excited about that. It's pretty cool.
One question, Gary. So with Pokemon, the crazy part about Pokemon to me is that they don't have any serial numbered cards, and they sell out, and then they have to reprint. It's absolutely, it's kind of like Junk Wax era, but everything just sells and sells and sells, and people want to collect it and all that. Is it more of a priority, or I guess would you be open to, I guess maybe, you know, VFriends sells out and there's one of ones and numbered cards, you know, would you be open to a product where it's more, you know, there's less hits or something, kind of like a Pokemon set where there's not necessarily a bunch of numbered cards or autos, or maybe you've got some of that stuff.
I don't
print more of it, you know.
I'm not in control on that, Dust. I'm the licensor in this scenario.
So Topps makes the call on how that's going to go.
Listen, I have a long-standing, longer than 10-year relationship with Ruben. Me and Mahan are tight. Like, there's a real partnership there, and we're talking. I mean, I'm fully working on the 26 set now.
Yeah.
I carved out super stickers for a reason, to allow me to do stuff we're talking about here. So let's put it this way. I'm not accomplishing shit unless I get millions of kids to care about these characters. I've got to make the cards affordable. We're selling comic books that are really really, really cool and really like storytelling. I've got cartoons. I got a lot of work to do. I'd be making a huge mistake if I didn't make some form of card sticker affordable. And so, yes, it's very on my mind. But also, let me give you an example. I don't think it has to be mutually exclusive. Let me tell you the thing I might be most proud about. Excited to get the 4 of yours reaction. Blasters.
Mhm.
I pushed a real interesting innovation. There is a 1-of-1 blaster product. Blaster exclusive 1-of-1 called Blast Off for all 100 characters. There's a 1-of-1 that is exclusive to a $25 blaster box. So I'm really excited about that. I don't think you have to make inferior cards. To me, I'm letting the consumer get the upside more so than me and the manufacturer. And that's good. I think that the manufacturers have sucked a lot of the oxygen out of the margin from stores and from the end consumer. And I'm empathetic to that. Like, it was too far the other way in some ways, right? When you're putting in all the work and you look and you sell for $80 and then 2 minutes later, they're $800 and somebody that's sitting in the middle makes all the margin. That's not right either. So everyone's figuring out their way. But I want to make people fall in love with these characters, and trading cards is one of the ways. And I'd like that to be as accessible as humanly possible. And but I don't think Chrome is going to be in the business of making an inferior product.
Right.
In fact, some of the stuff I'm working on for next year is going to, I mean, I don't know if you saw it, probably not. There is an insert in Chrome called Game On. It's a shadow box. It looks like a Game Boy with my characters in 8-bit. It's one of the best cards I've ever seen Topps make. In fact, I had no clue it was going to be that cool. Like, when we went through it. So kudos to them. It's like, it's really cool. There's 4 cards in a pack. When you get a Game On, it takes up the whole pack. Like, it's thick. But it's
so you know it when you hit it.
You don't. Like, it was funny. I was like, you don't. They did a great job. Like,
Nice.
Topps does a lot of things incredibly well, and they've made a lot of advancements the last 5 years. It's been pretty impressive to watch.
I like you. Go ahead, Neil.
I was just gonna say, do you envision this, like, say everything goes fairly well, do you envision this as like a once-a-year release product, or do you see it expanding out to, like, okay, here's Topps Chrome, here's the paper version that's maybe a little bit cheaper, you know? And I guess it could depend on exactly how the launch goes and everything, but
We signed a very long-term deal. So Topps Chrome 2025, Topps Chrome 2026, that's happening. Here's a little bit of a, like, under the radar that's going on. There is a Sapphire. But
yeah, I said just for the NFT holders or something. It's a very limited release, right?
It's the most limited Sapphire of all time. We have 555 holders of a Gift Goat NFT that all got it for free because I keep taking care of my original collectors. And then we, as a company, got 95 boxes, and that's it. So we are going to use that for, like, the national and, like, equal stuff. Like, we're going to try to be very smart about it. So that's this year. I think in 26 we'll have a more normal Sapphire release. You know, oversharing, and I'm not even sure I'm allowed to share this, but, like, I haven't even told Topps this yet, but I've been, like, dreaming up things I would do with black, Chrome Black, you know, been playing with that. You know, here's another funny one, Neo. I'm, like, weirdly into Stadium Club because I'm 49.
Wow.
And
the images, yeah, I mean, everyone loves Stadium Club.
We're 80s, 90s kids. So.
Yeah, us kids, this crew I knew would get it. Like, Stadium Club, when that came out, was everything. It made Upper Deck seem inexpensive. Like, you know, it was like, whoa. Like, that first Stadium, like Jeff Bagwell Stadium Club, oh my God, that was my life chasing that card. So, you know, I definitely look at the Topps, you know, that UFC Royale product came out. I'm like, oh, VFriends, right? Like, you know, so I'm dreaming. Obviously, Topps is going to have a lot to say about what they envision. I think I also think about other packaging. Like, I'm really into mega boxes. We don't have that this year. You know, so I'm thinking about it that way, Nia.
You have the full, speaking of 80s, 90s, you have kind of an 80s marketing blitz going on, is what it looks like. It's like the cartoons, the toys, the card game. And I can appreciate that because it reminds me of, like, Masters of the Universe or something.
It is.
Like, it is. Thanks.
It's straight out of the 80s.
It's wild. Yeah. So which medium, I guess, have you found to be because really the whole idea is, from what I'm hearing, is you need people to care about the characters. Obviously, it's like with Pokemon or whatever. It's like, you got to care about Charizards. So where are you seeing the most action as far as just, you know, you're talking about just getting young people into it? Are the comics? Is it the cartoons? Is it the cards? Is there something that sticks out that's doing better than something else?
Live shopping. whatnot.
thing.
Like, you know,
Okay.
like the storytelling when I'm on talking about it's massive. The comics are the big one, I think, because we're now going into what we're calling the canon era, you know, and comic fans will know what that means. And so we've been at it for 4 or 5 years. We're making a hard flag in the ground that we're going canon. We just put out our comic number 2. We sell that on Whatnot and on our shop on the website. It's a bagged comic experience. So the comics are all bagged. I was very affected by that Superman black bag back in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
We obviously, I'm a card guy first. Comics and toys were second for me growing up. So I am excited about having alternate covers. So you're opening up a pack. But Dust, I can tell you, literally today was the first day people got comic number 2. And it has a crazy origin story of Fearless Ferry, but it has a huge plot twist. People are freaking out. And like, it's like, again, this is a perfect crew. Remember when you found out that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's dad and you like shit your pants? It was like the craziest thing you'd ever heard. We, you know, obviously it's going to take me 20 years to match that IP, even in striking distance, but we definitely had a story in comic number 2 that for my little world of 5,000 crazy collectors blew their mind today. And I was like, this is it. Like the comic is a big deal. And now with AI and with the studios I'm working with and the infrastructure I have as a marketing firm, turning those comics into mini cartoons and things of that nature, like lots of excitement ahead for us.
Good stuff. Well, we've had you on for 30 minutes. That's beyond time. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had one quick. So obviously within the hobby, you have the investors, you have the collectors. And you do have the hybrids as well.
Yeah.
Would you say that you would prefer for your consumer, I'm not going to say your target consumer, but your majority consumer to be the investor side, somebody who's going to buy this product and maybe just put it away and say, hey, I'm going to see what happens in 10 years? Or would you rather for it to be the collector side, somebody who's going to open the product and enjoy the cards, you know, for what they want to enjoy it for in the moment?
Because I have, Steve, it's a great question. Because I have both of those energies in my body, I'm truly agnostic at the end of the day. I think we're such a young IP that we much more benefit from the collector.
Okay.
Right? Like I'm so far away. Like, I don't know if you, again, this is why I love talking to dudes in my age group. Remember when we were little on Sesame Street, they had that one skit, like one of these things does not look like the others. And they were like trying to teach us like what the difference was between fruits and vegetables or numbers and letters. When I walk into like Dave and Adams in Midtown next week, which I'm sure I will, it's very close to me. When I walk into their like non-sports section and look at all the Chrome products and look at Star Wars and look at Marvel and look at Disney and then see VFriends there, one of those things does not look like the other, right? Like I've got real work to get people to fall in love with these characters. And so I would say, Steve, like we definitely like, I'm definitely excited about people ripping them and freaking out. And we're seeing that already in a good way in the first 24 hours. But look, I don't think anybody on earth has more confidence in this product than I do. And I'm a collector and a flipper and I get how things work. You know, like a sealed case of this, if I pull off what I'm going to pull off, gets really fucking interesting in 20 years. And so how could I possibly blame someone who actually believes in me and wants to make that their move? So, you know, I don't get to decide, but in the next 5 to 10 years, I need a lot of character development, a lot of people falling in love with these cards. And these cards, I don't know if you guys have looked on eBay or done a little social media work. The cards are really legit. Like it's a really good set. We loaded it up with inserts. We have the original artist from Kaboom who drew an insert called Erupt, 1 in every 13 cases. We have the crazy stained glass product that looks like one of our NFTs called Iconics. We've got a head nod to Pokemon Chrome 2000 with a Y2K insert. So, you know, Steve, if I really had my way, like selfishly, I would want every pack open because people are going to fall in love with it. But obviously I want to, you know, I believe in freedom and the American way, and like people should do whatever they want to do.
All right, guys, we've had him on for 35 minutes. I know you're busy, man. I
I don't know if you know this, Dust. I'm literally in 40 minutes. It's official launch day, and I'm going live on Whatnot ripping. So I'm about to go.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
so
nice.
it comes out tomorrow, right? That's released. Well, let's go ahead
But
and get
tomorrow.
the people
All
that are
the-
looking for it.
Yeah, all the breakers and stores really have that 9 a.m. thing, but I'm kind of breaking the rules tonight at midnight because you only live once, and it's
your product.
After midnight, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Dan. That was what I.
Are you going to be at Fanatics Fest? You're going to be at the National.
I'm going to be at Fanatics Fest. I'm going to be at the National. I'm going to be at Comic-Con. I'm going to be at Collecticon Orlando. And very honestly, one of the most exciting things I'm doing this week is on Saturday, I'm flying to Ohio to go to Card Collector 2 store, Ryan, who I've known for a long time. And on the flight there, I'm literally reviewing a schedule my team has made of every local card show between now and the end of the year. And so not only am I going to those things, boys, but you might find me in like Des Moines, Iowa, in a gymnasium.
And Neil goes to those every weekend. He's in Ohio, so you'll probably see him 5 times in the next 6 weeks.
Good. One of the reasons I think I'm getting pulled to do this full time for the rest of my life is like, this is my first true love. Like doing card shows in fire stations and Jewish community centers and YMCAs and the malls of New Jersey. They're still my fond. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, I'm sure you guys resonate with this. Those are like just chasing Todd Van Poppels and Greg Jeffries and Harold Miners. And, these are like the moments that shaped me. I'm a pretty successful, accomplished entrepreneur, and I know where I got my training, and it's from this industry.
Was last year your first New York Comic Con, or had you gone before? Because I saw your booth. My wife got packs from your booth last year at NYCC.
Was last year year 2? Yeah, last year was year 2, Neo.
Okay.
Yeah, last year was year 2. We did Fanatics Fest. This will be our 5th national in like a main presence, but I think I'm 7 or 8 deep now. Man, I'm super fired up about this. And like, Dust, to be honest, what I think I'm most excited about is I'm really excited to watch this exact video in 9 years.
We're going to get back to it. Hey, I just clipped a video from 5 years ago of us, so I'll clip it again, and I'll still have the Maravich. I'll still have the Maravich on the next one.
That one was exciting, and like really, that clip talks about like where the hobby is today, and kind of saw it. I think 9 years from now, I want to look back and be like, man, I'm gonna look back visually and be like, I wish I still had all those boxes. Like that's the goal. And we're gonna. Here's what I can tell you. I have no idea. What God has in plan. I could get sick, God forbid. And like, if I'm out, then VFriends is out. This is on my back. But if God gifts me with the health that I hope I deserve, then I'm going to give this as good of a swing as anyone has ever done. And I really believe in my capabilities. And I believe in the mission of VFriends, which is there's a reason the packaging is purple. I think our society's become way too red and way too blue.
Yeah.
My 200 plus characters here want to teach people the middle's right. You could be kind and courteous and gracious while still being competitive, compassionate, tenacious and accountable. And so good mission, lot of excitement behind it. I hope it would mean a lot to me if people gave it 20 minutes. I think it's worth your 20 minutes to dig into. And I think if people give it 20 minutes of eBay and social media and like give it a little look under the hood, I think they'll see something much deeper than what they might have thought if they didn't do that 20 minutes.
All right. Well, I'm going to give it a much harder look. It's been around for the last 3 or 4 years, and I've thought about it, I've looked at it, but there's always something else. It feels like there's always something else.
And look, and that makes sense. And honestly, what I'm excited about, why I did the deal from my standpoint, Dust, is Topps Chrome gives it a lot more reason to take a look.
Yeah. That's true.
It's Chrome.
It sounds exciting.
Yeah, there's like a there's a Michael Rubin Superfractor auto that gets the hobby starting to sneak in. There's Dana White autos in this product because there's this Entrepreneur Elf insert, Kevin Hart autos. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Different for sure. Neo, do you have anything else? I don't want to keep Gary too long here.
Nah, good luck on the launch.
Thank you, brother.
We'll see you at Fanatics Fest for sure.
Can't wait to see you guys there. Stay well.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Well, just like clockwork, Ham's internet cut out, and
Steve fell off.
Steve
my
camera literally
internet was
flipped.
jumping
Literally
between my
turned into
phone.
fucking Steve.
I thought Steve was like, it was like The Exorcist where the head spins all the way around. He was going to go all the way around, I think. Yeah, that was cool. The guy is, the guy is just a ball of energy. That's one thing.
Yep.
He is a ball of energy. The marketing machine, Gary Vee. All right, boys. It's 11:30 Eastern. What do you think? Oh yeah, Steve texted me.
Steve said his phone died. He didn't rage quit.
Steve texted, I didn't rage quit. All right, good. We just wanted to confirm that, so that's good. Yeah, I think we'll probably log off, guys. We're old men, and
Yeah, we're way over too.
We're all EST. So thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Neo needs to go and scream into a pillow for the next hour to get over this Cavs game, and then we will be back again tomorrow with more daily videos, and we'll see you in 2 weeks on the next Off Centered. Thanks, guys.